All right, I see a couple people here. All right. I apologize to Jose. Jose, I told you I'd be here at 9, and I'm an hour late.
She meant live.
I'm on Corona time.
It's the next time zone over into the Pacific, so that's what you meant, right? Like past Catalina? That would
I
be
just
like
meant Corona time. I'm a lady, and ladies are late. We're late. We're fashionably late. So I'm fashionably late for you. Jose, are you here now? Are you one of my
even if he
viewers
isn't
right
there,
now?
you can still talk
I will.
about the things that you guys discussed today on was it Fake Book or was
No,
it
it was on my
YouTubes?
YouTube chat.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I don't think he's here.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
I know it's okay.
He'll run into this feed sometime.
So I was hoping to interact with him because I thought it would be interesting. So let me.
You're gonna bring up the conversation that you guys had today. What were you guys talking about?
I'm just gonna read it. Give me one second. I'll figure out how to do
this broadcast
live streaming thing like quickly. I'm not very quick. Oh, we lost some viewers. I must have been really bad. Must have been really boring.
Well, it's the Bob. I think once the Bob Marley, once one drop. First of all, I've said this before. Bob Marley, there's not a whole lot of artists out there that talk about. For instance, what he
Brian,
just talked.
Show your face for a second. There's Brian. Okay, he doesn't want to be in the shot, so
checking
he's
in.
There, though.
Sorry, I'm the guy that just like sits off screen and just chimes in. Probably too much, but
no, we need you.
You know, Bob Marley. He, in this last song, I'm just going to say the quote, "Give us the teachings of His Majesty. We don't want no devil philosophy." Now, I know that we thought that, they believe in, Rastafarians believe in a little bit of different things, but you know what? You're absolutely right, Bob Marley. We don't want no devil philosophy. And that's our show, right?
Yeah, we don't know. There's no devil philosophy being taught over here.
No.
We're trying to expose the devil.
Yes.
That's what we do up in here. We expose the devil.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, wow. All right.
Just having some fun, Brian Van.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jose's not here.
It's okay.
But that's what I wanted to.
Okay.
So we did that protest yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before?
What protest do you speak of? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about it right now.
Well, what is it? What's this protest?
I was about to say what it was. The Huntington Beach protesting the lockdown, right? Just America being shut down. So we were all decided to rally on Main Street in Huntington Beach. Wasn't yesterday, it was the day before, right?
It was Friday. A couple friends of ours called up. This is the thing that people don't know, is a couple of friends called up the Huntington Beach Police Department and on doing. And they knew that we were going to be there from 11 till 1. They had a police presence there. There's nothing crazy that happened. A lot of the neighbors started coming out, I think. And then people started seeing it live on TV. And next thing you know, there was traffic jam. And before you knew it, the 2 hours was up.
Oh, it was heavily pushed on the Huntington Beach Community Forum.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a lot of people knew about it.
Okay.
My parents knew about it.
Wow.
So yeah.
The boomers knew.
Yeah. So it was a good turnout. But anyway, I streamed it on YouTube and I got some crap. I got more crap for this than any other video I've ever done. Which was interesting to me. Because I think I'm getting crap from people even that like are on the same side as me for the most part politically. And so Jose, I don't know how he saw my video, but somehow he saw my video and said, "How do these people not see that these protests are going to make the shelter-in-place order last longer? We were just starting to flatten the curve in California, and we were on our way to open up the state sooner until these dumbass protests happened." So, I mean, I'm not going to read my whole response, but I responded a very, very long response to him. I just started off by saying, thank you for demonstrating that you believe in the MS that we've been fed. And then I go on to just cite different things that I've read and heard about the truth about the coronavirus, all the things that us as researchers have been seeing, the connections with the vaccines and Bill Gates and the fact that it was not naturally already done the gene sequencing and seeing that it was not naturally occurring and that it was
actually patented.
All that stuff, the patent and all that stuff. And I told him, I mentioned the hashtag Film Your Hospital. I'm like, you can just look that up and you can see people all over, citizen journalists all over the country pulling out their cameras and videotaping what they see. And that's really the only way to get the truth out, is for us,
not only what they see,
individuals, to just be always, filming that should be filmed.
The videos not only contained empty hospitals and people standing around hanging out, but it also showed the orchestrated dances that the nurses were coming up while they were they had a lot of downtime because they were just hanging out, but they're pretty cool. Some of them look like Michael Jackson dance videos. Like some of them are pretty tightly,
So Jose comes back and he says, I will definitely check out all those things. I want to understand where you're coming from, but I want to make clear that on direct observations and personally witnessing things because of my workplace, which early in March was helping hospitals to obtain personal protective equipment and also had a blood drive. I'm really not sure what that has to do with COVID, but he mentions that. Also, I have family in other countries that I have time to speak to now that my workplace has shut down to follow public health guidelines. I do have some questions, though. Who wants to take the economy to hurt Trump and why? Because I mentioned that. So he's asking me, who are these people that want to take the economy and why? Which to me is kind of self-explanatory. How do you measure how well the economy is doing? Is it the stock market? Because stocks have been going up for the past few days. That's true, yes. I'm genuinely interested in your answers, and I'm open to seeing things from your point of view. And I said back to him, thank you for being a truth seeker. I will get back to you with a thoughtful response, since I see that you have an open mind. There is much to learn, friend. And then he said, thank you. I appreciate that. I would like to mention that I was very politically active in my past, and I'm left-wing, like far left. And I'm mentioning that because I'm sure that a lot of your information will be contradictory to my information, and so I will be asking a lot of questions, and it might become annoying eventually. So thank you for your responses. And then I said back to him, you and I having a civil discussion about politics from two different perspectives could be a really cool thing for the world to see. I would only find your questions annoying if you weren't genuinely seeking after truth. When one picks out irrelevant points to argue, then it no longer becomes a productive conversation and just a waste of both of our time. But with the spirit of learning, seeking understanding, and wanting truth, and I believe we can have a productive conversation that we both can learn from. I'm sure I'll have many questions for you as well. And then I didn't get back to him, and he was like, you didn't get back to me, so obviously you don't care about, this is just a political stunt, or whatever he said.
Very time sensitive, huh? Wow, we are getting...
Then but you know what? And I responded to him, and I said, I pretty much spend my entire day responding to people.
Especially in the shutdown, huh? When you're locked in the house?
Yeah? I have way too many social media accounts, and I'm...
Your text?
I try to give very, very long, thoughtful responses. When someone asks me something, I will take the time to explain myself, and it takes a lot of time. So I just told him that, but I said, you know what? The guy, he seems like a truth seeker to me, and I said, I will try to answer your question on a live stream. Isn't that much better than a comment text? That's much better. It's much better for me because it's hard, to really to explain things in a long text, and who wants to read a huge long text on a YouTube comment anyway? So Jose, are you here yet, or did I miss you because I was so late?
Heidi, are you going to wait for him? Let's just give him the message.
No, I am.
He's not going to show up.
I'm just wondering if he's here. That's all.
Okay, well.
Okay. So, Jose, let me go back to exactly what you asked. You said specifically, who wants to tank the economy and why? Okay. You said you're far left. Who do you think wants to tank? Who do you think would want to tank the economy? Of course, the Democrats would want to tank the economy. That's who would want to tank the economy. And why? Because they don't want him to get reelected. I think that's pretty easy enough. But what you might be wondering if I'm alluding to what we call the deep state. Maybe that's what you mean when you're saying who, because I think it's pretty obvious that the Democrats would want to do anything they could to destroy Trump. So, and so I will explain to you what the deep state is, because the deep state is kind of a foreign concept to a lot of people, because it means that there's a lot of really corrupt people in a lot of different places, and it's kind of mind-boggling and difficult to wrap your head around. But the deep state includes politicians on both sides. What's up, Cameron? Gina. I'm glad you're here, Cameron. Maybe you can learn something from me tonight, hopefully. Cameron said hi, Gina. Okay, so the deep state includes politicians on both sides of the aisle. There are Republicans and Democrats that are part of the swamp 100%. And I always try to make that very clear. People assume that because we are Trump supporters that we're like hardcore Republicans. Not at all. I don't like to affiliate with a political party personally.
But President Trump is a Republican.
Yes, because that's what we have in our country is a two-party system, unfortunately. So yeah, I just call myself a constitutional conservative because the Republican Party does not always reflect my views. So, yeah. Okay, so yes. So the swamp, the deep state, there are crooked politicians on the left and there are crooked politicians on the right. But I will say it appears that are on the left. Would you agree with that, Brian? Yes, okay. But also in the deep state, Big Pharma. The people that control all of the medication that we consume and the people that keep us sick, perpetually sick, big pharma. Who else is part of the deep state? Global centralized banking. That's a huge, huge thing to understand with you. But
which includes?
All the central banks of pretty much almost every country in the world.
The Bank of every country. You insert that name of that country, you got the Bank of Canada.
The Bank of America.
Well, not only the Bank of America, but
more than just
the Federal Reserve.
What else is in the deep state, Brian? Big business. There are many very powerful big business people.
So how do they consolidate power in big business?
What do you mean?
If they are controlling big business, as you've said, how are they consolidating this power? How do they gain power in big business?
Through politicians, through corrupt politicians.
Through corrupt politicians, but also through the boards, the payseurs. Look at the payseurs, P-A-Y-S-E-U-R-S, payseurs. They are the French that are behind every single board that's on every major corporation. Boards are controlled by the payseurs, who basically go in there and purchase all the common stock and have all the votes so that they can control the boards.
Yes.
The IRS. The IRS is deep state. The IRS, we've always thought, you know what? The IRS is, they work on behalf of collecting money for the people. Oh, heck no. They are currently headquartered in Puerto Rico. They were headquartered before that in Manila, Philippines. This is our IRS.
And it's not just in the United States. It's worldwide.
It's worldwide. Well, it's a new world order.
All these rat lines run all of the world. It's the new world order, and the UN is a huge part of it.
The UN, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the Group of 300.
Bill
it
Gates
goes on.
is
The
part
Jesuits.
Of the deep state.
The Vatican.
Basically,
it's very extensive.
There are people with power that are good. There are some people in positions of power that are good. But it appears that if you're in a position of power, it's because you got there somehow because you're either connected, born into it, or did some stuff.
It's definitely like that for the entertainment industry. You do not rise anywhere in the entertainment industry
Hollywood
or in the music industry
is also part of the
unless you go through the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers do not let you do it for free. In other words, everyone has a price to pay. These guys are serious.
And there's and when you start to Monsanto food, all the food, all that stuff is
Big agriculture.
Big agriculture,
Big
yes,
pharma.
and then big pharma, big business. I mean, it's all the people at the top. I'm not saying all the employees or even the mid-level people. People are left in the dark.
NGOs, like the Red Cross, those guys are filthy. These data banks where they get blood, if they need your type of blood, and when I say they,
you're going
the
off
elite,
on a tangent, Brian.
Oh, it's not a tangent. They get you. Go ahead. Carry on.
Someone here. Come in here right now.
Sorry, I'm eating.
Sorry. So the deep state includes also Hollywood. The people that control Hollywood are part of the deep state. It's really hard to wrap your head around that many people and that colluding against us. Right, Brian? I mean, it's really difficult to go, oh my gosh, all these people literally are and colluding against us.
George Herbert Walker Bush, in his State of the Union speeches, he speaks of the New World Order. This is the same exact New World Order that he was speaking of. All of these characters involved. George Herbert Walker Bush, his son W, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. These are some dirty characters, and they're basically cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, it's been the deep state has been in control for a very very long time, and they control pretty much all aspects. Oh, and the universities are full of deep state actors too.
Academia.
I mean, it's like everything is against us. It really, really is.
Part of the deep state, if you've noticed in the last couple of press conferences, the president's talked about, first of all, the World Health Organization, which falls under the umbrella of the United Nations. We can talk about Amnesty International, UNICEF. All of these programs that come from the United Nations, they're all basically, they don't answer to anyone. So they get these budgets, they do what they may, and we don't know what they're doing with the money.
Nope.
The president said that last year, we had the United States, American taxpayers had paid $58 million to the World Health Organization. The year prior to that, it was $350 million. China had paid 1/10 of that, which was $35 million, and all of the decisions that were being made were favoring the Chinese. Not that there should be one or the other, but when you err, all of the erring was on the side of the Chinese. When they put down China and shut down travel, the WHO pushed back and said, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" Other things happened. The CDC. Again, the president mentions these groups being pseudo-public entities that work within the government. They parade around as if they are part of the government and public. I can say this about public television, about public health. He mentions the Institutes for Health. Look that up, NIH. He says this the other day. He said that the World Health Organization was bleeding us a couple of years ago, $350 million. In contrast, the NIH, the National Institutes for Health, the United States taxpayer was paying $30 billion with a B, $30 billion. What kind of where do we live where this group, the NIH, look them up. If you don't know about the National Institutes for Health, then you're probably like most of us. You might have heard it. It might have been some trivial name that you might get,
Okay, but we got to get back to Jose.
It's a dirty, dirty deep state out there. It's extensive. It's long. It's rat lines everywhere. And yes, they're all against.
So that was your question: was who wants to tank the economy and who wants and why or whatever. And it's the deep state, or you could just say, to make it easier for you to wrap your head around, the Democrats. Clearly elected, they're afraid of him. He's exposing them. They're desperate. They're on their last leg, and they're willing to do anything they can to take Trump down.
This is one thing that people don't understand, though, is that the deep state. When we talk about the deep state, we're talking about Democrat actors that are. I'm talking about the Nancy Pelosi's and the Governor Cuomo of New York. These guys aren't acting on their own accord. They are.
Jose's here. Yay, Jose.
They are puppets. They are puppets. So they're clearly they're not even acting as they are the DNC is part of the cabal. The cabal, the Illuminati, what are some names? The deep state, of which the DNC and the mainstream media are part of the deep state. They are extensions of the deep state that work as tools for the deep state. So
we're just explaining, because your question was, who wants to tank the economy and why? And I was just saying that it's the Democrats, or you could say, I mean, the deep state. And we were just explaining what the deep state was, and I know you could go back and watch it, but that's who wants to tank the economy and why, because they don't want him to be reelected, because he's literally exposing them. But you commented on my post or protest, and you thought we were, foolish for doing that. And now we're going to be quarantined even longer because of what we did. That was kind of your, if that's
was anything
what you said.
Was anything that you did illegal yesterday, Heidi Vea?
No. We're not required to wear masks in Orange County,
or in Huntington Beach,
or in our city. So yeah, I mean, really, we were legally able to assemble. That's part of our constitutional rights to assemble.
Not only that, but the person who put this together
contacted the police
and
let them know that we were going to do this, and they were cool. They came and were there to make sure everything keep the peace. Absolutely. And they were cool.
We didn't have a permit per se, but they were aware that we were going to be there for 2 hours, from the hours of 11 to 1, and at 1 o'clock we peacefully dismissed, and we said that we were done. And the organizers of this, a good friend of ours, Lisa, she got on the mic, and our friend, I forget her name,
Valentina. I think it was Valentina.
This Compton friend of ours, I'm not going to say her name, but she's from Compton. She also was an organizer, and she as well got on the mic and said, "Hey, we're done," and we left, and the cops are cool. People did hang out afterwards, and they had a lot of police presence there because they had a hand. We've done this before, right?
SWAT team and everything.
And last time, yeah.
So anyway, so Jose, I think you really were just curious about why I'm not, worried about the COVID, or why I think it's a hoax or whatever. So first of all, I don't think it's actually a hoax, that the virus doesn't exist at all. I'm not saying that at all. I don't think anyone is actually saying that. But what we're being told on the news, on the main only, it's not. I don't know if any of it's true actually. The part that's the lie is the pandemic part. The part that is the lie. There's not a need for the pandemic. The shutdown of America is completely unnecessary. Only people that are dying from COVID are people that are elderly with pre-existing conditions.
And this is according to this information that you're sharing? How do you know all this?
From the CDC.
It's from the CDC.
Yeah,
it's from the
official numbers.
It's from Dr. Fauci. It's from Dr. Briggs.
But there is a lot of information that's coming out that's not on the official information. And it's coming from citizen journalists. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. Some of the stuff that I was, researching and looking and seeing what people are saying out there about COVID. And I found some stuff. So I wanted to just go over, really, this is like, I posted this stuff on my Facebook. Okay, so it said, this is from ed.tv. They are desperate to keep you in chains. The lies and fear propaganda campaign is being amped up. Your knowledge is their biggest enemy and downfall. Don't buy into their lies. Stay strong. Stay educated. Ignore the lies and break free. Hospitals are empty. Film your hospital. Here's another one. It's starting to look like COVID-19 was planned out a long time ago, built to funding population control. Plandemic, hashtag film your hospital. And he's got posted an article from George Magazine back in February 1997. Bill Gates has been talking about depopulation for a very long time, and he doesn't hide it. Here we've got a picture. It says, please pray for this mannequin being wheeled into a New York hospital. So there's lots of reports, actually not even just reports, but people showing news footage. I think it was first shown in Italy, and then they took that same footage and they showed it in the United States.
It was CBS.
Same exact footage from it, that what they claimed was Italy. There's photographs of people working on mannequins that are being put out by the news, by the mainstream media, and people are finding working with mannequins. There's fake stuff coming out.
There was a video that a citizen journalist in New York City was taking, and he was taking footage of television cameramen. They had tripods, they had the big cameras, they had the professional equipment. It's easy to spot these guys, and they were setting up for their shoot. It takes a while to set up. You got to put that camera up. You've got to hold the camera, put it up there, set it up, make sure everything white balance, make sure everything is good, and they were getting ready to prep for shots. Now the shots were of crisis actors that were coming in there, and that they were staging them and putting them in ambulances. This guy was sitting there with two mainstream media cameras. They were probably hired guns. They weren't their actual. Staff that were doing it. They got some guys out there, hired some guys, and they were taking pictures for the news.
Yes.
Professional cameras, and these guys got a car came around. It's off. In other words, it was the guy that was sitting there recording it that shut the whole thing down. It takes citizen journalism like that to shut this kind of stuff down for reals.
And here's something else. Gates Foundation buys stake in drug makers. And then you see over here, that was back in 2002. And then just last December, 2019, Bill Gates tweeted, "What's next for our foundation? I'm particularly excited about what the next year could mean for one of the global health vaccines." What's the obsession with Bill Gates and vaccines? He's not even a doctor. He's not a scientist. Why is he obsessed with vaccines? Ask yourself. Okay, here's another one from Dr. Gout. It says, people around the world are needlessly suffering over a fake pandemic launched as the most expensive and wasteful war without end of the Pentagon, with the most collateral damage among animals, the poor, and women. Latest study from Germany puts COVID mortality rate at 0.37. Average mortality rate from pneumonia yearly is 20.5%. Can you not see this pandemic is fake? 3 million pneumonia deaths every year, and they shut down the world when there are less than 50,000 COVID deaths. That's the other thing, is they're faking the medical records.
Well, why would they do that? Is there incentive to do that?
Okay, they're faking the numbers because they get like a 15% increase.
It's been an average of about the 15%, depending on what
for emergency circumstances. Billing. There are videos of doctors out saying, "I've never in my career ever been instructed on how to fill out a death certificate," but they're sending instructions on how to fill out a death certificate and saying it doesn't matter basically how they died. If you test their body positive for COVID, you mark it a COVID death. Because there's an incentive. They get more money.
Another thing that they do, though, also, is because the testing hasn't been readily available. So because of that, they'll err on the side of it was possibly COVID virus, especially if they're receiving from the federal government because of this emergency situation that we're in.
Here's a quote from Bill Gates just recently. "Until you're widely vaccinated, mass gatherings may not come back at all." This dude is scary. He wants us to be mass vaccinated. Let's see.
Well, he is a philanthropist. He's been doing that for quite some time.
This is some citizen journalists, just taking pictures of empty hospitals. Empty hospitals. Here we go. Empty hospitals. Are you kidding me? Where's the virus? Another empty hospital. And this one, I love this one. War zones in 1942. War zones in 2020. We have nurses choreographing dances for TikTok. Wow, there's this alleged pandemic going on where they're running out of hospital beds, which is clearly not the case. Let's see. Coronavirus UK live, lockdown to be extended as minister warns no return to normal without vaccine. Again, this is someone that's from part of the deep state. The deep state people are the ones that you want to be mass vaccinated. I'm Bill Gates. I'm not a doctor. I was a tech nerd until I decided there were on the earth. I'm Tedros Adhanom.
Yes.
I'm not a doctor. I'm a Marxist terrorist until I took over the World Health Organization, which Donald Trump just defunded. Thank you, Donald Trump.
President Trump.
All that money he's like, this is not work. They're giving us bad numbers. Why would I pay an agency all these billions of dollars when they're screwing everything up? That is not how a businessman would run things. Let me just skip that one. Here we go. Matt Walsh. We were told we had to willingly plunge ourselves into a Great Depression because hospitals were being overwhelmed. Meanwhile, TikTok is full of videos of hospital staff performing choreographed dance routines. What a joke. This whole thing infuriating. So hospitals get an extra $13,000 if they diagnose deaths as COVID-19 and an additional $39,000 if they use a ventilator. Here's a conversation text message. It says, some doctors have been complaining about this guidelines of classifying every death as corona death, and lots of people claiming hospitals aren't as packed as the media is trying to tell us. Hence all the nurses on TikTok now. So I got curious. Real talk, it's BS. They are empty. Hospitals are about to go broke because they can't even do elective surgeries. So why are they lying, and why there's so many people, doctors, nurses, etc., talking? We moved in 1,000 extra ICU beds into West Texas, all of them empty. I think you're starting to see it. There are protests starting across the country, and I think that's what's happening. Is these protests are starting, and President Trump supports us. He supports us protesting and exercising our rights to protest this lockdown because he wants to open up the country. He knows that the BS. Trudeau says no return to normal without vaccine could take 12 to 18 months of being locked in like this. These are what the deep state actors are saying. Nope, you got to get that vaccine. It's going to be a year. That's going to be years before the vaccine's ready. Let me see what Hopsh27. Hi, guys. Y'all should check out what Dr. Rashid Buttar has to say about this. Look at the title on YouTube. Except Dr. Rashid Buttar, Blast Gates. You know what? Someone sent me that video. I have not watched it yet, but I will definitely check it out. Thank you for reminding me, because someone did send me. I remember that name.
Is out there. All kinds of doctors are talking about this stuff right now.
Okay, so, and then I want to show you something else. I want to show you something else. How do I get out of here? No. Oops. Sorry. Not Twitter. Shoot. I wanted to show, I made a post about how Trump is not mandatory vaccines at all. He's actually against them. Okay. Now I can't figure out how to do this. Anyway, Jose, while I figure this out, do you have any questions? Because you said you had lots of questions and you're super left wing, and I'm really curious about what you think about the things I've seen, because I know you said that you, at your workplace, you were distributing stuff, and anyway, if you want to talk. Let me pull this up. Okay, here we go. How do I pull this up? Well, it says, FYI, back in 2017, President Trump has created a new division within the Health and Human Services Offices for Civil Rights with the express purpose of banning mandatory vaccinations across the country and ensuring citizens have a right to choose their own health care. And I put, Trump knows about vaccines. When he talks about the COVID vaccine, please understand it's all for optics. He's completely against mandatory vaccines. He's on our side, rest assured. And then Forbes, I posted Fortune magazine posted this hit piece on him. Donald Trump has long linked autism to vaccine. He isn't happy now that he's president, which is funny to those of us that know the truth about
that was
vaccines.
A hit
piece on it, and I'm
trying
like,
to make him look bad.
He's trying to make him look like a conspiracy theorist. No, he's got the right people in his ear, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Dr. Shiva. And he's well aware of
the effects of
the
vaccines.
Connection of autism and vaccines.
You know what? Okay, now Heidi, have you always been a have you connected vaccines?
It's okay, Jose.
Have you connected vaccines to
No, I used to laugh at people that were anti-vaxxers. I thought they were crazy. I thought it was silly. And because you, Brian, you told me, you were like, they proved that that person that said that there was a connection between autism and vaccines was actually lying. And we made fun of Jenny McCarthy for being an anti-vaxxer. Remember that? Yes, we have since then apologized because we were wrong.
We've repented. We've changed our ways. We're like, no, that was wrong, because it was. It was absolutely 100%. I have changed to the point. I mean, we've heard Dr. Wakefield speak. He's an amazing doctor who has the numbers and has the information to show, this is some whack science. I mean, why are they putting mercury inside? Why are they putting human baby parts in there? I mean, they're putting some gnarly stuff in there. I
collected these tweets. I saw these tweets and I thought they were interesting because they're all like people that are, I guess, professionals. Let me just read some of them. You were all right. All the science on the science front, that is. But the aim isn't to keep people well. The aim is to torpedo the economy until the damage is terminal. While you're all arguing about the virus, you won't be allowed back to work. Great Depression 2 is already here. This person says, I couldn't find a chart, but COVID also seems to have cured not only the flu and pneumonia, as shown here, but also ARDS. Professor Emeritus, 20 years in simulation, probabilistic modeling, and statistical analysis. Experts made judgment calls without considering all risks. Replacement as elective lockdowns make the vulnerable populations more vulnerable. Unemployment causes starvation. Open the country up. Someone else says, I was a biologist and I worked in biotech. I left because of the subjectivity and the corruption. I agree with you. There is no science here. Educated guesses at best. We must preserve our freedom. Someone are with you. I have a BS in animal biology myself, and I'm back in school finishing up prereqs to get into grad school CLS program. Also worked in blood lab for 2+ years. Forcing quarantine on the entire population over a virus with a 3% fatality rate is just stupid. Immunologist here, and I agree, we need to quarantine the sick, isolate the vulnerable. Healthy need to go back to work. If sick, stay home. Wash your hands, people, and don't hold out for a vaccine. None exists for the first SARS.
Yep. We get it.
Anyway,
I want to ask a question. Okay. When we... Check. Sorry about that. Volume's not up. When we watch the press conferences and we see how the president responds to these questions, he always defers to the experts. He always defers to the professionals. He always calls up Dr. Fauci, Dr. Bricks, and even
Brian. It's not Bricks.
I don't care
it's
what
Burke.
her name. Burke,
Dr.
Bricks,
Scarf. Call her Scarf.
Dr. Scarf, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Bricks, Burks. There's something wrong in my mind.
Hey, Tim.
So, the president always goes, let me ask the professionals. The president has consistently gone to the professionals because he is not professional. Now, he has hired the best, and supposedly the best was doctors. That's why he is connected. He has them speaking at these press conferences. As you'll always see, he never, ever, when he speaks from his own, like, as an administrator, what he does. He also defers to President, Vice President, Vice President Pence in charge. If anything goes wrong, the buck always stops at the president's desk. But he also has his right-hand man to pick up the slack and to be liable for anything that goes wrong. He won't. Also, we have, again, the advice from the WHO, the advice from the CDC was garbage. Garbage.
Yes. So, Jose, you say, I'm on the CDC website right now. They have posted 746,625 cases in the United States. Okay, well, I've heard that the deaths are between 40 and 50,000. The deaths. I mean, the cases are, that's one thing for cases. But how many dead we had? Is it reporting on there? I mean, today the president said it could be between 40 and 50,000.
But it has flattened.
The
thing is, do you remember? You got to remember leading into this, the numbers were so that they were anticipating this curve. The curve, they were trying to get ahead of the curve. And the curve was suggesting that it was going to be a certain number, to the point of you had, again, collusion I believe, collusion on the side of governors that were overestimating the amounts of assistance they would need from the federal government. They tried to almost crush the federal government by catching them by not having enough beds. Now, the president not only created enough beds and created hospitals and dispatched naval ships Comfort and Mercy to both coasts, but he had the military build a 2,000-bed a facility out of the Javits Center in New York City. All of this, which was overestimated by the governor, Governor Cuomo, it was also to stretch the abilities of the federal government. This was all orchestrated. This was all... Heidi, do you have that video? Can you bring up that video?
Which video?
The video that you edited of...
Cuomo?
Cuomo. Yes, take us there.
I think we played that like a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
sorry.
We don't need to play it again.
Well, we're answering
Everybody's
the
seen
same
it.
questions, though. I mean,
So the CDC is reporting not even 40,000 deaths yet. Yes. Okay.
the numbers are ridiculously low.
They're ridiculously low, and those are with the evidence suggesting that they're pumping,
Up.
like legit pumping the numbers
They're
up.
feeding those numbers.
They're like, yeah.
With hindsight and with the ability to test afterwards, they'll be able to say how much they pump these
And a
numbers
lot
up.
of the tests are faulty positives. That's the other thing. Trump keeps saying that and reminding us a lot of these tests were testing positive when they weren't even positive. So I don't know. I hope, Jose, that we've presented you with enough evidence to make you at least think twice about the government is spoon feeding us with this whole virus thing. I mean,
There is a silver lining to this, though, Heidi. The silver lining is that we believe the president is
aware
of what happened, and he's playing 5D chess. He knew that this was going to happen. He had prior to happening. Do you remember that the other night we were talking with Shiz and Giggles? Mm-hmm. And she was bringing up that they had a what do you call a sorts event
201.
201 event 201.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heidi. You knew I was trying to get that. 201. Look it up. It was done in 2019. It was a simulation of what would happen if there was a pandemic globally. In the simulation, they also included the mainstream media. They had reporters and cameramen who were telling the story that they'd be telling. This is the amazing thing about the deep state, is that they're great storytellers, man. They love to tell stories. They telegraph their stories far in advance. Right, Heidi? Sometimes they do.
Oh, yeah.
Many times
and
they
movies
do.
and...
Let's bring up that movie. Why the heck not? I know this is off base, but hey, that's how we do it here. You know what I'm talking about, Heidi?
No. Let's not do that.
Back.
No, that's too deep. That's too deep for
No.
Jose. He's not there yet. You have to like be a fan of Trump before we
No,
go into
man,
that
that's
realm,
deep.
Brian.
Okay.
So Jose is in the camp. Jose says he's far left, but he says that he's critical of information from the government.
Absolutely. I would totally.
That's good, Jose. You
I
should
would be suspicious.
and you should be suspicious.
You know
So
what?
who did you vote for, Jose? Did you vote for the Hills? Did you vote
Hey,
for
Heidi,
Hillary?
Can you bring up Naomi Wolf? Do we watch her every time too? She's worth it. She's worth it. She is. I mean, I feel like I
know.
I share her
You
with
know
everyone.
what, Jose? You'll appreciate it because you believe
Okay.
you. It sounds like you believe fake news is a real thing.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
think it's possible, Jose? Do you think it's possible that the mainstream media could collude with rogue elements
Of
of
the
the
government.
government, like the CIA?
For propaganda.
Because that's our claim.
Listen
Not
to
our claim, but what a lot of people believe.
Okay.
And no, to be
bring up
true.
Naomi Wolf.
Okay.
You've got to bring her up. She is first of all, she worked on the Al Gore campaign. She is a liberal. She is a feminist. And she's a journalist. I like her because she likes to talk about truth as well. And truth comes in ways, shapes, and forms. I would never have thought that I would have taken I mean, she's a liberal. I don't listen to liberals. No, I do. I listen to truth. I listen to truth. I listen to truth. This is amazing. Find her.
What do you think of what happened in Boston?
Let me transition it. Okay.
Okay.
Interact. All right. Here we go.
When we were looking for a pressure cooker and 2 teenagers, you know, and then they took over the whole city and shut it down, and to me that looked a whole lot like Marshall.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't believe. See, this is why I didn't want to give this talk, because have this conversation, and now it's on the record. All right, let me take a step back, and we have to deal with it. Let me take a step back and a deep breath, because this is a very painful thing to talk about. So, all over the world, we know, it's well established, the State Department and intelligence agencies engage in theater, and it's what they do, it's spycraft, to create spectacles that people may not realize are spectacles and events, but that, well, like the overthrow of Mossadegh in the 50s in Iran. They'll funnel money to protesters, they'll, fly people in to infiltrate protesters, they'll create fake newspapers, and so on. So we know that this happens in countries around the world. I believe that a law has been passed, I think it's part of the Defense Authorization Act, I need to confirm this, that, now makes it legal to propagandize American citizens. Do we know about that? And is it in the NDAA or is it in something else? Do we know?
It's a separate bill.
It's a separate bill, and it's been passed. It's now law? Do we know what the 2 years ago. Do we know what the name of it is?
I don't remember, but I reported on it.
Oh, thank you. Will you send me the...
Yes.
Thank you. So what this means is, and I, as a journalist to say these words, just, I can't tell you with what a heavy heart I say them, but we've entered an era in which it is not crazy to assess news events to see if they're real or not real. And in the United States as well as overseas. And in fact, it's kind of crazy not to. Now, there's so much about what I just said, and so I want to be very clear about it so it can't be taken out of context. There's, pardon me, it's a vilification of anyone speculating about that because they become a conspiracy theorist, right? Well, just bear with me. I've often thought about this because our intelligence agencies, and I respect spies. I mean, who are doing, like before it got out of control, I believe we need intelligence. I believe we need intelligence agencies. I don't think there's anything dishonorable about being in the intelligence services if you obey the Constitution and the law. But all over the world, our intelligence services are engaged in conspiring to create outcomes. That's their job. That's how they're successful. So now that it's illegal to propagandize in the United States, it doesn't surprise me that more and more products coming up in popular culture, more and more events in the news stream that seem to be, to my eye, to be subsidized. Let me give you some examples of that. I'm not talking about Boston right now. I'll get to that. We also talked earlier about infiltrators, right? And how they provoke violence. This is well established. So if we know that infiltrators by the police, NYPD, they've been documented, or other police forces, dress up like people they're not and provoke violence, why is it unthinkable that there might be spectacles that might come in the news stream? Let me give you a couple of quick examples. And all I'm saying is we, unfortunately, and I have to say this to my fellow journalists as well, we've entered a time in which we need to be very skeptical about the news stream and look at it critically and ask for more verification and more inquiry. And that's just being good reporters. And it makes it like this. There's spectacle fed into the news media in China. There's spectacle fed into, like Chile. How did Pinochet, engage in his coup? He created photographs of a cache of weapons that the terrorists had, hidden. Was it real? Historians think it wasn't. I mean, this is like not unusual, in the process of creating a closed society. So if laws have made it legal to assassinate American citizens and legal to propagandize them, why should it be crazy or weird to think that that might be for a reason, right? All right. I saw the movie Zero Dark 30, thank you very much. And I have worked on 2 presidential campaigns, so I recognize political talking points. And I wrote a piece saying, this reads like the Pentagon signed off on the script. Because there were like chunks of political talking points. I worked in Washington, right? And you don't come up with those if you're a writer writing a screenplay. And everyone was very upset. It was very controversial and scandalous. But in fact, belatedly, a news story came out saying that in fact the Pentagon had, I think, subsidized some of it, but had certainly consulted directly on the script. And I see more and more TV shows about the CIA and more TV shows about spies and gigantic blockbusters in which surveillance is normalized and gigantic blockbusters in which people are tortured to get them to talk in a way that might exonerate people who actually tortured people to get them to talk in Guantanamo. And there's all this money being pumped into these unaccountable, terrorism fighting things. And now there's no law preventing that money from going through front organizations right into popular culture. So that's of interest to me. And so another thing I want to say, and there's I just need to say this, is I'm skeptical of certain news events that seem more theatrical than the norm. Or I want to ask questions about them. Because I was in CNN once recently, and they were reporting a story about a water skier who had been decapitated on a lake between Mexico and the United States, and it had something to do with a terrorism threat, right? And I was like, decapitated water skier. Sometimes you hear these things and it's like so novelistic. You're like, real life doesn't work that way. Like, these are so novelistic. Someone's coming up with it to make it stick in the popular imagination. Or it just makes you think, well, I'd like to document that. I'm a reporter. What's the source? And it kept being just this one guy, Judge Arpajo in Texas. I may be mispronouncing his name. He's a very, yes. He was the source. And I have this wonderful Facebook community all over the world. And I went on Facebook, Mexican Facebook community. Is there any reporting about a beheaded water skier in this lake, in this place in Mexico? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? There's nothing like that. Doesn't exist. So I turned to the CNN and said, do you have a second source for this story? And it was all over the news. And they're like, and they checked, and it's like, nope, just this guy, Judge, whatever. And I'm like, well, can you find a second source? And they were blushing and embarrassed, confessed that they didn't have a second source, which, if you know what journalism is, you're supposed to confirm it with 2 sources. So ever since that experience with CNN, no one's verifying it. Journalists aren't in a position to follow up on anything anymore because budgets are slashed and there's no investigative reporting. All this nonsense can enter the media stream for purposes that have to do with advanced agendas because no one's checking. That's all I want to say about that. Can I take more questions? So Boston, I guess my feeling about any of these things is let's investigate. We need to investigate. We need to ask better questions. We need to interview the doctors at the hospital. We need to interview the victims. We need to, get all the footage ourselves. We need to train citizens to be journalists and to have websites. And I'm busy building one as a startup where citizen journalists can document events so that we're not leaving it to the gatekeepers.
That was one of my favorite videos for my sense of learning about the propaganda and false flags and the ability for our government to orchestrate and manipulate events so they appear to be something that, happened on its own. Heidi and I have told this story in one of our videos before. I have no problem telling it again because it's some of you. One of the things we've got to do, Heidi, is we've really got to take note. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Get a piece of paper, Heidi. Please. I need to start taking notes of what we're talking. We can be redundant. I'm a broken record. I'm getting old. I'm getting up there in age. And my memory from
partly on camera. Just so
I don't care.
what did they do?
My memory fades me when I start speaking about how this. But I want
Jose, let me ask you this: have you ever heard of Pizzagate?
Oh, is that where we're going, Heidi? Is that the direction we're going?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Audible.
I thought you wanted to.
We're going to go down Sandy Hook. And you went to Pizzagate.
Okay.
Okay. Audible. It's okay. We're going Pizzagate.
He said it's cool, bro. You're an OG. Ha ha ha.
I don't know if I'm old, man. I'm an old G's, right? I'm an old G.
Getting older by the minute.
Exactly. Go ahead, Pizzagate.
Just to ask him if he's ever heard of it. I don't know how delayed this is, but
Pizzagate's pretty.
I'm just curious because he says he's far, far less. Okay. Well, you have heard of it. Okay. Does it sound completely crazy to you?
He might not even know what it is.
Do you understand what it is?
Let's talk. Just talk.
And if you I just want to see where is that coming from. Do you kind of understand what it is, and do you think it's like a big lie, or what do you think? I'll just wait for you to answer. I'm sorry. I know you're on your phone, and it's hard for you to type. I apologize.
This is real time live.
This is live TV. This is what you got to deal with.
TV streaming.
This is live streaming. Yes. Okay, I'll just start talking while you're typing your answer.
Heidi, just go ahead and...
So, I wasn't really. I guess I wasn't really someone that like dabbled too much into conspiracies before 2016, but I was interested in politics and I was curious. I've always been a curious person, but the conspiracies always sounded so insane that I never even like looked into them, because they just sounded. Although I liked researching Bigfoot for some reason. And aliens.
Sasquatch.
I always liked watching Bigfoot videos and alien videos. That always fascinated me. But and conspiracies were kind of interesting to me. But in 2016, right before the election in the summer, there was a lot going on. A good friend of mine, who was also a fan of Trump, and she liked politics, and we would talk all night long. She one time mentioned to me. Well, it was right when it was happening, actually. So she's like, have you heard about Pizzagate? And I was like, no, I haven't. I have no idea what that is. And she goes, just go look it up. And I believe this was July or August of 2016. And so I'm not having any idea what it is. I go and I look it up. And we're mostly on the website, Reddit, if you're familiar with Reddit. But there was all kinds of... community posts, or I don't know, threads about this, like it was real time happening, and people were grabbing stuff. So
for instance,
briefly what it how do I do this briefly?
Okay, never mind.
It's not gonna be briefly, but you know what, if you're interested in learning, I
was gonna say there's nothing brief about that. Heidi, what are you doing? That's like open up a huge can of worms.
I know, but you know what, it's early. We're not. It's not like 1 o'clock in the morning.
I know, but you're gonna say, but starting
but
that story.
Here.
I know, but starting that story. We're gonna end at 1 o'clock in the morning right now.
Really? You think so?
So how soon do you think you can wrap up with that story? I'd love to know. Give me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
I'll just give the intro. Okay, so the intro is. The Pizzagate thing started from the John emails that were dumped on WikiLeaks. I'm sure you're familiar with those.
Julian Assange is a good guy, by the way.
So John Podesta is Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. And there's this guy, this young man by the name of Seth Rich. And Seth Rich was a Bernie fan. And he worked at the DNC as a staffer. I'm not exactly sure what he did there. I'm going to guess he was in IT. But he worked at the DNC. Anyway, he was found murdered in front of his apartment in Washington, D.C. on July, I can't remember the date, in July 2016. There's a lot of weird things surrounding the circumstances of his death, but the cops deemed it a botched robbery, although his wallet was still there and his cell phone was still there. There were reports that he was still alive when he got to the hospital, and that Donna Brazile was somehow involved. Anyways, so
Donna Brazile was she was the chair of the DNC at the time.
Yeah.
She actually got a phone call.
No. John Podesta was the chair.
No, he was not the chair of the DNC.
Oh, so you know about the Seth Rich story. What the heck, Jose? You know stuff. You know stuff, but you're far left? I don't know how you're far left.
Maybe he was a Bernie fan, just like Seth Rich.
Okay. So, I don't know how much you know, but I'll just finish So when the DNC was hacked, well, what they say they were hacked, they've always said it was Russia hacked us. They keep saying that. And the FBI actually offered to take the DNC servers and check them and say, we'll see who, hacked your DNC servers. And the DNC said, no, we don't need you to do that for us.
As a matter of fact, also when Seth Rich was killed, his parents were represented by the DNC. As a matter of fact, they didn't speak because the DNC did not want their privacy to be. They didn't want it to be impeded.
So basically, the truth about the DNC, it was not a hack. It was a leak, and it was leaked by an insider, and that insider's name was Seth Rich, and Seth Rich was murdered. There was a hit put out on him, and then that's also exposed in the emails as well. And
WikiLeaks has never taken anything that's been hacked. It's always been by whistleblowers. The president also has done an executive...
Oh, so you're a Bernie supporter. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, Bernie's cool.
That's good. So then you understand. So you know the story. You understand Seth Rich was so mad because he saw what the DNC was doing to Bernie, that it wasn't a legit election. It wasn't going to be... she was not the legit nominee. Clearly Bernie had the momentum, clearly this time and last time.
And that's why
you must be so angry, Jose, about Joe Biden. That must kill you. I mean, it's insane. It's insane that it's so obvious to all of us, even to Bernie supporters. I would think that this is just a setup.
But
it's like these elections are a joke.
Is it quite possible that Bernie was in on the setup, Heidi? Tell him the truth.
Well, I haven't done a ton of research on it, but it does appear that he received some homes after Hillary Clinton got the nomination. That's what the researchers have put out, that it looks like Bernie was a sellout, and all of a sudden he was really poor, and then after he lost the nominee, he was rolling in the dough.
As a Q researcher, Heidi, who will be... Because these things were kind of already spelled out.
Wait. Let's finish this.
What are we finishing here?
No, just so basically, the truth was that Seth Rich was the one that leaked. So all these emails then go from WikiLeaks, who's Julian Assange, and then they go onto the internet, onto the Chans, and to Reddit, and the researchers, the Anons. They start digging through these emails. And
let's talk about the Chans. You know about the Chans, Jose. If you don't know about the Chans was there. It's one of the purest places for communication on the interwebs. I'm probably speaking to the choir already, but you have to trip code to operate there. In other words, your code is your ID. And you operate behind a proxy. You operate behind a work so that no one knows who your identity is in terms of having an IP address. No one knows who you are.
Yes, he knows about the Chans.
Okay, so when you operate in the Chans, okay, so this whole thing would have never happened had it not been in the Chans. Everything has got to be That's how we're posting. I don't know. We're
Do
talking
you know
about Q
about
now.
Q, Jose?
And that's how we get all our information. Really, that's how we got a lot of our information.
I'm sure if you looked at my YouTube channel, you probably know that I'm a Q researcher. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Q, but because I actually have no idea how you found my video, or you know, you're a Bernie supporter. It's interesting having you here. Thanks for coming.
One thing, if I can give you a little piece of hope, Jose, I know that Bernie has talked about having free education. Bernie has student debt forgiveness, right? I believe he has, right? Is it debt forgiveness or just debt assistance? I don't know.
Oh, he says, I know about Q, but I don't agree with it, but I'm open to hearing about it.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. We're open to talking about it.
One of the things that we've talked about also that Q has we've learned is that there's going to be possibly forgiveness of debt. I know that with all the degrees that are out there. I work in television. I've gone up to human resources and I've seen the stacks of mail coming in with big envelopes, all holding resumes, and people have just they've just gotten out of college, and they've got these degrees, and they're worthless. I mean, they're really worthless. What are you laughing about?
Because he says, go ahead and preach about Q. We can talk about Q.
Oh, no, I'm preaching about Q because
let's talk about Q.
But this is reality. I'm not talking about Q. I'm talking about worthless degrees that are out there. I mean, I know people who have studies degrees that you can't get a job in your studies degrees in your field of expertise, even pay off the debt of that student loan. I mean, that's ridiculous. For years, people are going around saying preaching, and I get it, for certain subjects, medicine, sciences are even questionable but for years, ever since the government started not subsidizing, ever since they backed the loans for students, they made up all these degrees, and then the price of education, higher education, just soared through the ceiling. It was nuts, you know.
There's no jobs.
There's no jobs.
People with these degrees.
I work
waste of time.
I have a studio as a cameraman for years, for the last over 15 years, and I've seen these stacks come in, and there's people that want to have an internship there, and guess what? Even if we're in the LA market, it doesn't matter. That's a lot of shredded paper there. That's a lot of firewood. That's a lot of whatever you want to call it.
Hi, James from Colorado.
James from Colorado, what's up?
Okay, so let's move on to the whole Q thing. So Jose, you said
11. Hey, wait, one sec.
It's 11:11, guys, in our time.
And 420.
And it's 11:11 on 420.
2020. And 2020 is perfect vision.
20, oh my gosh.
Wow.
It's very symbolic. Q like symbols. So if you know about the Chans, then you understand that anonymity is how you can be anonymous on the Chans. And you also know...
See an enemy?
And you also know that that's one of the last bastions of free speech. That's one of the last places on the internet where you are not censored, right? Like that's where you can go and you can say say whatever the heck you want because you're anonymous.
And they do say anything they want.
And they do. People talk openly about things that they dislike and disagree and believe, and a lot of times they're crazy.
But you know what? One thing I'll say that's consistent with the people in the conversations that I've had in the scene talking. I'm a lurker. I go in there and watch. There's some smart dudes in there, man. That's all I can say. There's some smart dudes in there.
Because the nature of that place is people that are intelligent, that want to feed off other people.
There's a lot of testosterone in there.
There's a lot of people go in there, and you get called out on your stuff. Or if you're fake, you get called out. Because there's always someone in there that knows more than you. Or it's kind of rad. Like, it's rad that the Chans exist.
There's different levels.
People, you can't get away with BS in there. That's what's rad about it.
Well, you get snuffed. There's none. They push you out.
Hey, Salty. Yeah, so that's what's rad about the Chans is you gotta know your stuff. If you want to hang in there, you can't. You get you get destroyed
And that's
if you don't know what
coming
you're
from
talking about.
observers. Again, we've
Yeah,
never
we're not- we
operated in
don't-
a way. We're not even.
We don't contribute. We just read.
No, that's not even that we don't contribute, because I take what I learn and I pass it along. That's really what my role is. But it's pretty cool to see these guys operating and Baker's Bacon. When they get a Q drop, they disseminate the information. They figure out, they tear it apart, and then we disseminate.
Okay,
the
so
we spread it.
So speaking of the chant, so the story of Q, maybe you know this already, but I'll just pretend like you don't know, because I don't know what you know. Is that under the category poll, you know, the different threads or whatever you call them.
Yes.
Poll. That's where Brian, my husband here, his name is Brian. He would hang out on poll all the time because it was like it was like edgy. It was like kind of interesting. You know,
The
it was
memes are
interesting.
funny. That's what
It
really
was
got
funny
me.
and it was edgy and it was smart, and that's what attracted Brian to the Chans and to poll in particular, because politics are the only thing that really interests my husband. Pretty much, really. There's nothing else that really interests you besides politics. I mean, history, but
Wait, reading. I like to read
yeah,
politics.
you like to read. But so he was in the polls, and this was in October. I think the first drop was on October 28th, and Brian was there probably like the 29th or the 30th. I don't know.
I was
He
on the
there.
29th because I was watching the Laker game. It was a Friday night. I was still psyoped on the Los Angeles Lakers. I was still watching them, and then I remember going there the next day when Q, this guy shows up, and his name, everybody, a handle or tag, whatever you want to call it, tag, gamer tag, I don't know what they call it, but you have your ID, your profile ID, and his name was Q Anon.
Clarence Patriot. Or
Yes.
was that later?
No, it's QAnon. Q Anonymous. And it's just another post to me. This dude means nothing to me. It's just another name. You know, you see all these guys that are talking, and I just read, and you're scrolling down. It's like, just a dude, you know? So he starts talking, and it's the way people talk there, there's a lot of cussing. There's a lot of, like, you know, they use words because it's the Wild West when it comes to free speech. Like, every curse word imagine is a term of endearment. So the cuss word, you name it, man. You know, the bad words that you could ever, okay, that is a term of endearment. So they would call you, like, if you're really good, if you were an auto mechanic and you know everything about cars inside and out, and you're bringing your A game to the Chans, they would call you, like, grease monkey, insert the, like, worst word you can think.
You can say it, Brian.
No, I don't want to say it because some of it, sometimes it's like the N-word. The N-word is a term of endearment. Accept that. People are like, whoa, what are you doing? It's like, this is the Wild West of communication.
If you're a lawyer and you know the law really good, they call you law fag.
Yes.
Like that's what
There we
they
go.
use it.
That's it.
They use the term fag, endearment. Or if you're like that guy we met, that was in the channel.
Finance fag.
He was like, I'm a stock market fag. Like he's like, and so he's in there. So if anybody says
That's
anything,
the only guy that I've ever met from the Chans. He's like a hardcore Chan people. And
he's
he was
funny.
like, nope, anonymous, don't even.
But he said, oh yeah. So basically, like if people are in there, you know, talking stuff, and someone else knows more about that topic, then they call you out.
So
anyways,
this guy Q Anonymous comes and he starts talking in a certain way, and he talks. If you look at Q post, that's exactly how it is. It's using the Socratic method, which is asking questions, and that's what he would do. He would ask us questions like, and I remember one of the first questions was, and this is I was still getting to understand what exactly
what's going on.
What's going on? None of us really knew, and it's like, so he'd go like, okay, what is the dance that the president's doing? The president had just gone to Saudi Arabia. That was one of the first places he'd gone on his when he became president. China, and then he went to Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, we landed on the ground. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry for telling the story over again because it's the same story over and over again. This is how we found out about Q. But he would identify this dance. Maybe I should in the frame. He would identify the dance and say, "What is this dance
symbolic of?"
This symbolic of, and it was the saber dance that he was doing with the Saudi sheikhs, and they were dancing with a saber, and it was music playing on the background, and the question was again, when does this happen? When this is how our research started happening. This is really how research happens. It's like you look it up.
So
and
we all started looking up, like, what is the significance of the saber dance? Blah 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 blah. And then you find out when there's two opposing tribes, but they want to come together to rival against another enemy tribe. That they do this dance, and that was symbolic of.
It was symbolic of them coming together and putting differences aside to fight a mutual enemy. And so when the president did that, that was a signifier. That was very significant as well, that he had done that. But it was a sign showing us basically, or not necessarily a sign, but it was a clue in teaching us not only how to research, but like what the relationship was with the president in Saudi Arabia, which was very important to the events that would unfold following, including the Las Vegas shooting, which was tied to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was a huge part of the deep state at the time. At the very beginning, when all these Q posts were coming out, the questions would be asked about, or it was even leading us to understand that there was a three-tiered
pyramid of power.
Pyramid of power, which included
power structure.
The Saudis,
Soros,
and the third part was
the
Rothschilds.
And yeah, so these drops keep coming, and people are like, I mean, it was like, they were very interesting questions. They were very, and it was like a puzzle.
It was like a game,
and it was really freaking fun because, I mean, everyone that didn't hang out in the chans, like actually post in the chans, on Reddit, on Calm Before the Storm. And so all the normies, or people who are new to researching like me, were on Reddit mostly.
It was so early, Heidi, that there wasn't really
wasn't a ton, but stuff was being moved over to Reddit for everyone to read and to look at, and it was crazy interesting, all the things that were coming out. And then just every day there's just more and more things, like clues, like the timestamps matter. I mean, and then letting us know that misspellings matter. Okay. Everything. Okay.
When the
They're
president,
all clues.
There's many clues coming from many sources. The president in his tweets. When President Trump tweets, and a lot of people would laugh at him and say, the buffoonery. Yes, look at it. He's a clown. He doesn't even know how to spell. You know,
laugh at his misspellings.
But everything was a clue. And everything.
Q told us misspellings matter.
One of the things I will say is Q is a military operation.
Yes, Tim said that. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. And it's done with military precision. And that, okay, I'm not a military guy, but I know that they do things. It's again, gosh, it's the art of war. It really is the art of war. It includes also disinformation. Q straight up, one of the posts teaches us that it is necessary in the Q operation and also in the military operations for there to be disinformation, because there has to be. This is war.
Because you're doing to the enemy.
And well, you do broadcast. You broadcast when you're strong. You broadcast when you're weak, and when you're weak, that's just the nature of how you would do. That's war. There's also military deception. So there's disinformation, and then there's pure deception, and that's done. That's just part of war again. So the things that are being dropped by Q, the deception would be in the timestamps, and the timestamps matter. The time that these that tweets are posted, the time that Q stamps are posted,
and then Donald Trump. So we were taught to track his Twitter as well, tracking his the timestamps of his Twitter and
his misspellings,
and his
capitalizations,
and the dates and capitalizations, and I'm not sure if it's gematria or gematria, but all that stuff is part of it too.
And a lot of people talk about numerology. Numerology is in the Bible. No, this has nothing to do with numerology. It's gematria. When you look this up and use a calculator, there's ways and forms that are used to communicate. But the numbers, it's interesting because numbers do have power. That's the interesting thing with this whole entire thing is is there are very important numbers that are used. And both the good side, this is a battle between light and dark.
I think we need to explain what the purpose of Q is.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
So, yeah, I mean, we're getting
Apologies.
into the details of it, but you just need to understand what the purpose is and like why.
Why is this happening?
Why the drama?
Why the drama?
What is the purpose of Q? And the purpose of Q goes back directly to what we talked about at the beginning of this stream, which is the deep state. The deep state is controlling all forms of communication. All forms of communication, I mean social media. Like, they ultimately are in control of the information that all of us, movies, TVs, the news, everything is controlled. Go ahead.
Everything is controlled, but the mainstream, okay, all of this and the spying that was going on, because the FBI was spying, Mossad was spying, the CIA was spying, British intelligence, everybody was spying, Australian intelligence, but the NSA, without the NSA military intelligence, none of this would have happened.
Yep.
So that is a key component
of the whole Q operation, and we'll get there. But okay, so Donald Trump gets into office. We're told that that our military, our generals, were so disturbed. This was in a Q post, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're so disturbed, basically, by what they were seeing that was our country was being given away. I mean, it was like, I think Obama was giving away,
so
like,
many things going on.
Going to give some of our aircraft carriers to the UN, and the generals were like, we gotta stop this. This is
the generals and the admirals were like, that's it. They'd already been stripping our military down to nothing. They'd already made faulty contracts with Chinese companies that had steel that was bad steel, and that's why we had that. Remember that battleship with the carrot? That wasn't a battleship. We don't have battleships in use. It was a cruiser. I believe it was a cruiser that was sideswiped by some fishing boat or something.
Yemen? Was that
No,
Yemen?
no, that was in the Pacific Ocean. It was like I think it was out of Japan. But that was some garbage steel that we were creating our ships with.
Chinese.
There's a lot of things that are happening right now, and it was more than no. But that would you said it was Chinese, and it was Chinese, but it wasn't he's doing. It was
our own military.
It was a deal that John McCain. I've learned this from QPOS. It was a deal that John McCain had done. John McCain was a bad character. A lot of people.
But
John McCain.
We're explaining the purpose of Q, Brian.
I know, but
you
know,
go off on these tangents.
I go on these tangents, and this is like, John McCain.
Because all this stuff is controlled. All the communication is controlled, and you got someone. Basically, how do I shorten this? The military asked Donald Trump to be president because they wanted to take back our country, but they wanted to do it in the best way possible without without starting a war.
Well, they could not do it. Okay, they had to. The cabal. We call this the cabal, the Illuminati, Khazarian Mafia. I've heard all kinds of names for.
And they had two choices. They could either take it by force, or they could try to have a legally duly elected president that knew take back our country and was part of it. And so they asked Donald Trump to do this, and because Donald Trump was a president, and he never joined the club. He never joined the club. He could have, and he never did. He chose to distance himself, and he's clean. Nobody owns Donald Trump. Nobody owns that man. And that is why he is such a threat, and that is why no other president in the history of this country has ever received so much hate and anger. And I mean, look at what they've tried to done with they are just right. The Russian collusion, just trying to think of anything they can to destroy the man. And this is, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. That's what they're doing. So they're afraid. They were afraid of him becoming president. And anyway, what was I talking about? I forgot.
Q.
I know, but where were we at in the story?
The NSA.
We're talking about how the military asked Donald Trump to run for president.
Okay, so This operation has been an ongoing operation. This has been going on since the CIA took John F. Kennedy's life. There was a meeting that went on the night before.
Okay, Jose, it says you said that's where you disagree when it comes to Trump. You disagree that he's not corrupt. You think he's corrupted. I'm sure that's what you're saying, right? You think he's owned.
Okay.
We can explore that, but well,
I mean that's the.
I don't know where
Owned by who? I
Owned
don't
by
know.
who or corrupted by who? Like you gotta.
I mean, first of all, he's not
You
owned
gotta
by the
back that up
mainstream
by
media.
some,
If you'll remember in 2016,
Oops, sorry, evidence.
if you remember in 2016 when he was running for president, there was not one media organization. There was not one newspaper, there was not one endorsement. There was not. I mean, and if I were to bet, if I were a betting person, I would have cleaned house because there's not one soul out there in all of the United States that believed that Donald J. Trump would win. And that includes me and you and everybody else. Actually, I did. There's not many people who believe that President Trump was going to win. Heidi knows.
I sure hoped he did, but I had butterflies in my stomach.
Well, you didn't think he was going to win. Nobody in their right mind, especially if it's like, if we're talking betting money, if you're going to put money in it's like, there's nobody that was that foolish to ever think that Trump was going to win. I got my
But let's stay focused, Brian. Oh my gosh, you're terrible.
okay.
So,
Whatever, I knew. It was a 7-Eleven coffee cup poll. That's how I knew he was going to win, because there was way too many people that were undecided. And I knew, guess what? If you're undecided about who you're going to vote, maybe it's because if you decide one way, you might be labeled
racist,
a homophobe, a xenophobe, anti-immigration, you're anti-human, you're anti Paris Treaty Accord, right? You're anti everything bad. It's like, you must be crazy. So nobody would. Yeah, it was a 7-Eleven cup that made me know that you could look it up all over the nation.
Let's focus. Though.
That's how I knew though.
So there's a lot of information that when we talk about being woke or whatever, like it's legit. Like, there's a matrix that we live in, and the purpose of Q is to let us know about all this stuff, to teach us about the cabal, to teach us that all these conspiracies we've been hearing about our whole lives are all connected and part of one giant web of corruption and control, and it's all has been getting more and more consolidated over the decades. It is a long-term plan for them.
George Herbert Walker Bush, yes, the Republican, George Bush 41. In his State of the Union addresses, if you look on YouTube, look it up. Look up when he says the New World Order. He says it several times.
He talks about the 1,000 points of light. George Herbert was a bad dude. Like, we're sitting here, we're calling out all the bad Republicans too, because some of the worst people in this whole operation are John McCain and George Herbert Walker. Horrible human beings. Anyway.
George Herbert Walker Bush, I'm gonna say he was executed. Don't like to hear that, but this will all come out someday. That something happened where he had to.
Thanks, James Gilbert, for saying that we make a great team. That's rad.
Yeah. Look at the funeral. There's researchers over here. Jose, you want to have some fun? This is a fun one. YouTube. You might have to look a couple pages
Herbert
in.
Walker.
George Herbert Walker Bush's funeral.
And envelopes.
There were envelopes that were handed out to some characters, including Mike Pence.
Obamas and Mike Pence.
Why did Mike Pence...
But let's not go off on that tangent.
I know,
right
but
now.
it's such a good tangent. Why did Mike Pence get a... Because there's...
Get an envelope.
I know,
but we're talking...
But there's different levels of people.
But we have to explain Q. We're telling the story. Okay. So the purpose of Q is to get... Because the news is never going to report the truth about Trump, or just like everything, like the truth about the world that we live in. So the Q operation is an information dissemination operation, and we, the people, are the plan. We, as citizen journalists, are the plan. We've been given the tools. We've been given the tools of how to research. We've been taught this. Pizzagate actually prepped us totally for researching, doing the Q research, and it taught us how to dig deeper and always to follow the money, and just it's a big giant puzzle, and that's what Q is. But it's also a message of hope. The message of Q is ultimately that patriots are controlled, and that all this stuff, all this craziness that we see playing out, because we are as God-fearing, American-loving citizens, we are disturbed that these people, these criminals, especially political criminals, are not these getting in trouble, and we're thirsty for blood. I mean, we want public executions with the accusations that are going around, with the things that are
what?
Yeah, with the abuse of the children. Come on, Brian.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Yes, I advocate for public executions as a deterrent. Believe it or not, it's I don't. Wow, it almost makes me sound bloodthirsty. But when when everything comes, and if you've heard what's going on, there is zero tolerance for that kind of stuff.
Human trafficking is no joke. It is our world. The big shocker of the century is that our world runs on human trafficking, and that people that we think are just normal people do some of the most horrific things that you could ever imagine to little children, and we are like stock to them.
We all
cattle.
We all think about Epstein Island, and everyone laughs about Epstein. He didn't kill himself. Oh, Hillary Clinton was after him, and they had the dirt on him. It's like, talk about dirt that happened. The digging that the researchers did on Epstein Island is baffling. I mean, if you look at that Ray Chandler IG photo that she had, that had the security cameras up there, Anons, straight up bakers, had gone down there and looked and ascertained by the angles of the security cameras, the stairs in there, that.
Okay, wait, let's read Jose's comments. He says, okay, here's the thing. I used to be really active in politics and was a member of a left-wing activist group. We had a newspaper. They actually still exist. But the thing is that group was infiltrated. And he also said up here...
Oh, we're going... Okay.
Emails said she wanted Trump as her opponent because she thought it would be easy to win. And the Russia thing is because she's embarrassed that she lost. Yes, you're right. She is embarrassed that she lost. She's shocked that she was.
Oh gosh.
But also the Russian thing was more like, it was a setup. I mean, I think you're talking about the Russian collusion with Trump. The whole thing it's more than she was just embarrassed that he lost. It was there. Peter Strzok, Lisa Page,
it was the fix was in.
It was that was their insurance policy. They're like, we've got a plan. If for some reason Trump wins, this is the plan. This is our plan. This
and
is
they
how
worked
we're
that
going to
plan
get
for
rid
a
of
long
him.
time.
That's all come out, and that's known.
What are the things we're waiting on? We're waiting on the Mueller report. We're waiting on the Horowitz report. Nope, that already came out. We're waiting on the Durham report, right?
Yeah.
We're waiting on...
What's A.G. Barr got for us?
A.G. Barr.
You said that we had people following us all the time. It's no joke. We were able... So you're talking about when you were in this left-wing activist group following you?
That people on the right were following you?
Maybe.
Because this
What's the name of this were you Antifa?
Yeah.
Were you an Antifa, Jose? Please tell me you were not an Antifa person. What is the other ones?
In Orange County?
I know.
Indivisible OC?
La Raza.
La Raza.
La Raza.
La Raza.
Were you part of La Raza? That's pretty crazy. If you were that far left, if you were like in a crazy like activist group, that's pretty interesting. But you understand that the government is corrupt, and I do too. Like, totally. And I totally understand the issues of Trump. I get it. Oh, I'm glad you weren't Antifa. Those Antifa people.
I guess a lot of the struggle that people will have are when they see things that the president's doing to benefit them. Right now, people are looking at this money and everyone's going, oh, the he's giving out money to everybody so that he can win their vote over. And it's like, you know what? First of all, it's the people's money. This is the people's money that he's giving back. He's not giving anything more. That's
right.
And so, I mean, if you look at all the good things he's done, Heidi, what are some of the good things that he's done for this country? And they're amazing. Starting with,
I don't know what he did for the veterans, what he did for any doctor. Yes, Jose. I'm going to sell you. I'm going to sell you on President Trump right now. I'm going to sell you on him right now. And this is my sales pitch. No Durham recall with no warning. You know what? I think you're right, Tim.
That's right.
We do not know. We do not. They do not advertise the. So anyway, Jose. Here's some of the things that I'm just going to rattle some things off the top of my head, things that I'm just watching Trump make and think he's the greatest president ever, and proof that he's putting we the people first and that he's not owned by anyone. There's no anyway, maybe you can come up with something, but I see no evidence at all that anyone is controlling him at all. His heart is with we the people. He's truly a patriot. One of the things he did was that for the veterans. The veterans were, you heard horror stories. My friend was just telling me tonight about her son's in the military, and his experience has just changed overnight, and other stories she's heard from other people saying, oh my gosh, there was like the wait times were insane, and it was so incredibly difficult for these poor people, poor veterans, to get any sort of help. She said they were committing suicide in the parking lot because they just were never getting help. And Trump passed a bill that they can see any doctor at any hospital at any time. No wait, they don't ever have to wait. It's all
specialists, go anywhere.
Yeah, they never. I mean, and it's changing the lives of these veterans. Like, I mean, it's amazing for them. And then there was the Prison Reform Act, and
there were laws that weren't justifiable. I'm sorry. You're giving hard time to some grandma.
Jose's claim is that he profited $950 million off of his presidency. Whoa, where's your evidence for that?
Please,
I've never
drop a
heard
link.
that. Please
drop a link.
Please send me more information, because I'm pretty sure he gave up his salary.
Oh, maybe it's because he stays at the Mar-a-Lago when he goes.
He
down
stays
there.
at his own hotels. He saves the taxpayers a lot of money by staying at his own hotel, and by not taking a salary. Anyway, so the Prison Reform Act, amazing.
$950 million is a lot of money for sure, if that is the case. But I'm going to tell you, the NIH, $30 billion a year. The National Institutes of Health. If you've listened to the presser the other day, this is some gnarly stuff. It is coming out. I mean, it is coming out on all of these NGOs, including the money that was taken from the World Health Organization. It was $58 million last year. 2 years ago, it was $350 million from U.S. taxpayers. This is dirty money. He took that money and reallocated it towards the Red Cross. Are you kidding me? The Red Cross? The Red Cross. The president just put a laser.
Taxpayers had to pay for Secret Service to stay at Trump resorts.
Yeah,
well,
that's
called Secret Service. It's paid for by the federal government. Why would that? That's not a.
Did you know that Obama still has Secret Service? So does Gerald Ford.
Yeah. Why would the Trump resorts pay for Secret Service, which is their federal agents, their government agents? The Trump resort.
If this is okay. If this is what you're hanging everything on now,
if that's why you don't like President Trump,
if we can get through these, Heidi, then he'll believe everything we say. Because if this is what
because that's a very, very what do you call that? A nitpicky thing.
Okay.
When you consider like him bringing manufacturing jobs back,
taxing the Chinese. Okay, first of all, the Chinese, their yuan was tied to the U.S. dollar for years. The dollar would go up in value, and you know who kept this artificially done was the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas. All those three were
the lowest unemployment across the board, the highest stock market, and you're going to complain about the Secret Service having to be paid for by government?
How do you like that?
That's really,
if you're living in
really
California,
weak, Jose. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to bring your A game. I mean, come on.
Come
on.
How about look at our energy. We're energy
independent for the first time.
He calls it OPEC
ever.
Plus. Had we not been energy dependent, we would be at the mercy of OPEC right now.
Yes.
Look at
we are energy independent.
While the world's sitting there and we have our national reserves of oil completely filled because obviously nobody's driving. So the prices are. What happens when the price of oil goes down to like $1 a gallon? I mean a barrel. Who knows what's going on right now? Because I know in California we have like 70 cents on, I think it's like 70 cents on the dollar. I'm sorry, 70 cents on the gallon is taxes. Right now, gas is at $2.50 a gallon in California. So
very good point, Tim. All elected congressmen still make lots of money, even long after they leave Congress, more than millions. Yes, it's true. And Congress people stay in for decades. They're never going to lose their jobs. They just keep getting reelected. Why? Because of special interests, and they pay. They're just. You need to have term limits.
There needs to be
corruption does not.
Not only term limits, but this is something that I can agree on with all Democrats. Is there needs to be campaign finance reform because the soft money that people can just dump money on any. It's not you can't dump money on a candidate. You can dump money on their freaking parties. That is ridiculous. Got to end because you have.
And you know what? Who would be for that? Donald J. Trump would be for that.
Well, not only that.
Everything he's for points to taking... This is, Jose, this is what you got to understand.
The Supreme Court, too. Don't forget about them.
Everything he does. Power from the elite.
From the system.
Removes
from
power
the establishment.
From the establishment.
When I talk about establishment, we're talking about establishment Republicans,
How
too.
can corrupt do everything to remove power from the elite? You talk about being a fan of Bernie. Who... I mean... I don't know. I can't understand the logic of Bernie Sanders or just even believing the idea of socialism. Do you value freedom, Jose? Do you like freedom? Like, what is freedom to you?
Wait. And also, how much of your paycheck are you willing to give to a collective government so that they give you what you believe you deserve back? So, in other words, how much are you willing to concede?
Wait, you think Trump has done the opposite?
What has he done?
Okay, the opposite of... Oh, so you think everything he's done has given more power to...
The fat cats? Ooh.
No, Jose, I don't think you're following...
We might have to talk to somebody else, because this is a long conversation. We're allocating a lot of time to Jose, though.
It's good. It's okay. It's good because people... All Trump supporters are encountering people like Jose that are...
I have questions to ask.
I'm assuming where are you reading that, Jose? I'm gonna guess that it's a mainstream media outlet because you don't just come up with an idea like that on your own because it's literally based on nothing. I think it's so absurd for you to say that the things he does gives power back to the government like that. There's zero evidence of that. It's so absurd.
He got rid of the inheritance tax.
He got rid of the inheritance tax.
That's double taxation.
I mean,
this is money that's already been taxed.
Everything he does is cut, so that the money flow back to us. He's already giving it back to us.
He taxed the Chinese 25% on $250 billion. That's a lot of money coming back. He went to NAFTA. He got rid of NAFTA. We have the United States USMCA.
He has given more power to the deep state?
Ooh.
Dude.
Where's your evidence, bro?
Okay.
Bro, you gotta drop the goods,
do you know what the Paris Treaty Accord is?
Oh, he does.
I don't. You're not sounding very intelligent, Jose. I'm
disappointed.
I'm trying to follow you, but like
we want to be on your side.
Like everything I'm telling you,
man.
like the reality, you're not in reality at all. Like he's cutting everything. He's cutting
NATO.
The flow.
He went to NATO.
Of money
he went to the UN.
To giant.
Okay. Do you believe that that the United States, WHO, I would love to know what your opinion is on that, because the WHO, which started this whole entire thing, which the president expert advice, they dropped the ball. Okay, should we continue funding the WHO, the World Health Organization? What do you think?
The only thing he has that fits the American people is challenging trade with China. Okay, how about the lowest unemployment?
Bro, you need to read.
How about the lowest unemployment?
Bro, you
how
need
about
to
all the manufacturing jobs that are back in this country?
Jose,
how about the inheritance tax
stop.
being cut?
Wait. This guy needs to do his research. Help you. I cannot hold your hand any longer, bro. You have to be able to go out there and do it yourself, because what I'm telling you right now, this requires
Again, Jose, where are you
research.
getting your information from?
Please don't tell me the mainstream media, because if you are, I can just turn on CNN. CNN will just tell me the same thing.
Yeah, because you literally sound
I can go to
like
MSNBC.
CNN right now.
I can turn on Rachel Maddow and she'll be pumping this. I don't want to do that, because you know what? She's got a freaking annoying voice.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't like, if you could like just one piece of evidence, just one thing. Just give me that something he's done is giving power back to the government and not giving it back to the people.
All I gotta say is, cheers, booms today. Heck yeah.
I know. He said boom, boom, boom.
He said boom,
3
boom,
times.
boom.
Maybe we'll
boom,
shift gears.
Boom.
We'll let Jose think about that.
Okay, Heidi, for a little
we'll
bit of
shift gears for a minute.
Okay, I like boom, but I also like zoom, zoom, zoom.
Jose,
and room.
Jose, that doesn't make sense at all. I'm getting the information from Trump's words and policies.
Where, bro?
His policies are cutting power, cutting money, not giving more.
Jose.
That doesn't
sound... Dude, I got some leftover.
You say you're really into politics.
Hey, Jose. I got some leftover Easter candy right here for you. It's really good. Chocolate. Because it's going to be a long night, bro. You got to sit there and get on your computer. Get on your phone. Use some DuckDuck. I wouldn't advise you to use Google, even though Google's coming up with the goods lately, because the algorithms now look like they're leaning towards, if you looked up something, it might actually come up. It might not be buried 10 pages in. Jose, you got to do your due diligence. You've got to study. We're helping you out. We're telling you right now all the good things that the president's done. And all we're getting back is no, Orange Man bad. Yeah, and you know what? We hear that all the time. This is nothing new.
Citing any proof or evidence.
Please.
You can't just say Trump's policies. No, you have to tell me.
Challenge me.
Give me something to
chew on. I want to be challenged.
I want to learn from you.
I don't want to debate. I'm not want to debate.
You're coming from, because it's so not in reality, and we just want to know, like, how. First of all, where are you getting that information? And please name just one of Trump's policies that you'd agree with.
That
just
leads
one.
to the deep state.
That gives more power to the deep state.
I've studied this. Okay, I've studied this inside and out, and there are a few things that Trump's done for optics that don't necessarily
make sense,
jive with my sense of my ideology. And I'm like, whoa, Trump, you've made a bad choice right there. But you know what?
Okay, he says, hold on momentarily so I can show you. All right, we're excited. This is fun. I don't know. I guess he's not going to be a Q follower.
Well, that's the difficult thing about having these programs, because you don't know your audience. Is this a program? Because we're not programming anybody. I hate the word program, because I just watched that Out of Shadows, and that was amazing when they talked about television and channeling and programming. It's like, I work in broadcast television. I'm a news junkie. I love the part of aesthetically capturing a shot and framing it and making sure there's balance in the shot and making sure that there's
I don't think Jose really understands like the deep state.
No. Well, that's the thing, Heidi, is sometimes this is difficult, because it's because we've got there's people,
I mean, for
that
example,
really want to know.
like Trump is, building the wall.
I know,
the deep state didn't want him to build the wall.
I know, but we're throwing the brakes. We're throwing big time and going
Jose,
in reverse.
do you know why the deep state didn't want him to build the wall? Do you understand that it's for so they can have all those people voting? Did you hear about that? What did I? Oh, the EO to postpone immigration. Oh, no, I don't. The executive order to postpone immigration. Was that new, Tim? Tim,
What's that?
Please look that up.
What's that?
there was an executive order to postpone immigration.
Yes.
When was that?
Tim, you're absolutely right. I read that today. That because of the COVID virus, all immigration to the United States will be temporarily stopped, which is all legal
Makes
immigration.
sense.
Which is, you wouldn't want to bring.
So that's the big boom for today,
I don't
Tim? Is that what you're thinking? Maybe.
know that there was the president said 3 booms.
Oh.
That's what the booms were. He said
Yes.
boom, boom, boom. He said boom, boom, boom.
He did. What else was interesting at the press conference today? There was some interesting things. Brian, you kept calling him Teacher Trump today.
Oh,
He's like,
okay. Well, I couldn't see him. I just was listening to him, and I was like, listen to Teacher Trump, because he was like, all I could imagine was him pointing to the reporters, going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you
go next.
Raise your
okay,
hand.
and then you, and I cannot tell a lie. Remember when he said
And he also said he corrected somebody, and he was like teaching them. He was having a teaching moment with the reporter.
He
and he
was
was like,
really
that was
nice
a very
today.
good
He was like
question
really
you asked.
sweet, and he was like, John, look at you. You asked a good question. Good boy, John.
Was this
I'm
the
gonna
same
put a gold star
Okay,
on you.
was this the same John that he was like,
Naughty.
no, he
Naughty
said,
John
you'll
Carl.
never make it.
You'll never make it. You'll never make it.
You'll never make it.
One of my favorite lines. You'll never make it.
Well, he's
Oh,
still
you're
there.
just a loudmouth. Remember
But
when he
he's
said
still
that?
there.
Oh, you're just a loudmouth.
That sounds like sometimes you tell me that sometimes, Heidi,
I
right?
tell you that all the time. You are just a loudmouth, Brian.
Yeah, just a bunch of hot air. I know.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah, I married a loudmouth. That's okay. He likes to call people out. That's what Brian does. Brian,
But you know what, though?
Brian
People don't know me
calls
that.
people out.
But people don't.
And
People
because
think I'm
of this,
soft-spoken.
all this political stuff that's going on, he's even more intense than he's ever been. In
Brown privilege. That's what I call it. Brown privilege. I wear my hat proudly, and people look at me and they go, well, I can't call him a racist. I can't call him a xenophobe because he wants more of those brown guys to come into the country. So he likes, I guess you know what I do? Never mind. That was something that was kind of racist, but no, can't do that. But I got brown privilege.
But yes, and Brian uses that against the
deep
against
state, no.
the social engineering. He's like, oh yeah,
In California.
brown people can't be racist. Okay, I'm gonna wear my MAGA hat all day, and I'm gonna
Has dirty too.
and I'm gonna call you out on your white privilege, white liberal, because most of the people that attack us are white
Gosh.
liberals, rich white
They
liberals.
cannot fathom a brown dude walking into their
poor.
town. Because I'm walking into their town, even though I live here. But it's like, okay, we went to that march, Heidi. Remember they had that illegal immigration? They were supporting the No Borders. They had a march here in Huntington Beach.
Liberal white guilt, I called it.
They were okay. Everybody
They
was
had
wearing
they
white.
had a candlelight vigil for the immigrants being held at the camp in the cages.
There's about 200 people, right?
Yeah. And it was mostly all older white women.
There was
and
no.
They were
There was
holding
no.
candles.
I was the darkest dude there, and I was like, I was the darkest guy there. I almost jumped in line just to like go, hey guys, I think they're talking about me.
You guys need some diversity in your children in cages march.
Oh, and then the other person that was there was the gay guy. It was a gay guy and me, and we were like the Trump supporters there. It was pretty crazy, but
Yes, that was fun. Yes, Tim, he was he was funny and kind today. It was good. Okay, he said boom, boom, boom today. What else? Was there anything else that stood out today that he said that was interesting? He was saying certain numbers that were about China, wasn't he? Something with numbers. Oh. I don't know. It was it's always interesting, his press conferences. Except for when Dr. Burke starts talking.
bricks.
Not bricks. Dr. Scarf. Oil. Oh, that's right. That's right. He was talking about the oil prices being negative or something. What was he talking about? The negative?
I think so.
And then he said, yeah, it's okay.
Oh man, gosh, I was driving or something. You think you were?
We
paying
weren't. He
attention.
wasn't. Yeah, we weren't listening.
I couldn't be focused because I wanted to be focused, but then I might miss my exit or something. You know, I turn into old man. I turn into boomer driver and just miss my exit, and I'm like, must concentrate on LA.
Oh. So here's a question.
freeways.
I actually haven't done. Okay, so Tim's saying read up. Yes, we do got to read up on that.
Sorry, Tim, we're slow. We are not.
We gotta get help from
actually,
you guys.
we came here. Tim, you gotta
came
drop
here
the
for
goods,
you to drop
man.
the goods for us, buddy. We want to know what the heck's going on, so we have to live stream. Oh, it's funny.
Okay.
No, this was interesting, and I
You know what? I'm gonna look up. The
I
Q
actually
post right
didn't
now.
look it up because I was like, I just saw that the money from that was supposed to go to the WHO was being allocated to the Red Cross. Is that true? Is that true? And then Brian was like, Heidi, if that's you were saying laser pointer.
If
look
that's
it.
true, then he's
If that's true, then he's obviously there's a plan.
to out the NGO, aka Red Cross.
Yeah. So please, someone tell me if that's. I can look it
I'm
up.
going to.
Oh. Read up. I don't know. What else were we going to talk about, Brian? There was a lot of things we wanted to talk about. I wrote them down somewhere, but I don't remember where I put that.
It is the last minute of 2020.
Okay. Here we go. Let's put it up.
Good morning, boys and girls.
Okay, we can hear you eating your food. That's kind of gross.
Yeah, I know.
Stop! Don't do that.
It is 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on your West Coast. It's Brian and Heidi sharing what?
Sharing QMap.pub now.
QMap
1
done.
if by land, 2 if by sea. Q responds to retired U.S. military. It's military here. Q, please don't let us down. We were willing to die then and still willing to die now. Do us proud, please. For God and country, brother.
You know what? Why don't we go to the Facebook page? What the heck?
Okay.
Let's see what happened today. I don't know what I dropped, so.
I don't know what you dropped either. But probably dropped some fun stuff.
I hope so. I hope it's quality because it's you know, these things just happen throughout the day, and
sometimes it's not quality.
sometimes it's not quality.
That's not true.
Sometimes it's quantity.
No, let's look. Okay. Oh yeah, let's look.
Yeah, scroll down.
Oh,
What's the first one?
I don't believe the corona. Wait. Stop it.
Oh, this might be good for Jose if he's still here. If he hasn't freaking jumped ship.
We might have been a little too mean.
No, what are you talking
I
about?
don't
That
know.
wasn't mean at all.
Do yourself a solid and Google TV, television, and film. Then select images. Did any of you guys do that yet? It's pretty disturbing.
How did that happen? How did the algorithms in Google lead to the images that come up when you Google TV, television, and film?
Little girls in little tiny bikinis, and it's weird.
Next.
Okay.
Wait, how many? Go ahead and look at the post.
You want this one? It was on
No.
Amazon.
That's keep on going up. You
Okay.
gotta. That's all from post.
Scroll up.
Yes.
Oh.
This is a professional. We're professionals here. We do this on the fly, and
Because we want to be the opposite of the news. We want to be raw.
okay, it's right there.
Okay. We don't want to be legit.
We want to be like network news. Okay, right there.
7 devastating revelations about Crossfire Hurricane and release thefederalist.com. The greatest political scam in American history.
I don't want to click on that. I want you to look that up yourselves. Go into that. Dig. Keep on going down. Okay, this is.
This is fun.
Let's
I'll
go
play
ahead and play it.
If it will let me.
Pause. Wait. Go back.
Yeah, people. By the way,
Ooh,
so
that's loud, that's
Spider-Man
loud.
19.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You want to give a little background before this? I mean, it was just cool. If you follow Q, and you get this.
If you follow Q, then you think it's funny.
American flag, which of course is beautiful.
Oh, that's the FBI pin. This is the CIA pin for the good people, the 99%.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, by the way, so Spider-Man 1974 edition, 129 of the Amazing Spider-Man Marvel Comics, that's the Punisher. People will have all these conspiracy theories. It's the Punisher. It's a Netflix series and it was a movie. I just liked it.
Can you send me a pin that everyone will talk about, please?
Yeah, right.
I need some kind of
I'm
pin.
reading all this stuff. I'm like, no, it's not a secret signal to people.
Do you have a secret? True
Headbutt.
Punisher. The true Punisher is Hannity if you go after him from the New York Times.
Watch the Netflix series. It's amazing.
Punisher. All right, Hannity.
Well, you got to back
American
that up one more
flag,
time.
which of course is beautiful.
Oh, that's the FBI pin. This is
Yeah.
the CIA pin for the good people, the 99%.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, by the way, so Spider-Man 1974 edition, 129 of the comics, that's the Punisher. People will have all these conspiracy theories. It's the Punisher. It's a Netflix series and it was a movie. I just like
What pin that everyone will talk about, please?
I love these guys. I love Hannity. I love Laura Ingraham. These guys they are in on it. Come on now. Look at that laugh.
They know about
That's
the
some
plan.
acting right there. I said, you know what, guys? You guys were working on this laugh. You guys did a rehearsal before this.
They did. I think they really were laughing. POTUS just said boom, boom, boom. Yes, we talked about that. This is from good old buddy Furl Dumar out of Idaho. He had sent us this. I don't believe the coronavirus numbers. I'm sorry. Just like I didn't believe Russian collusion, Ukraine, Christine Blasey Ford, Benghazi was due to YouTube video. You could keep your doctor, etc. Everything is political and it's always about power and money. We're being scammed.
Why, that was a very good sounding, like, radio voice you had there.
Sort of had a little bit of an accent, but not too much.
That was like Southern NPR radio.
James, I agree. Hannity does have a little problem with talking over people.
So does Brian Vea.
Yes, my husband does
I
that
have the
a
same
lot.
problem. I like to tell her.
I have to tell him to shut up a lot.
Oh, you keep on talking. That's why I keep on filibustering her. Nope. And I just
said, always, Brian, what I tell you, be a better listener. Be a better listener.
I'm trying.
I know you are.
That's a lifelong process of trying to be a better listener because you know what?
You can't learn anything when your mouth is open. You can only learn when you're listening.
Not true. I'm a living, walking proof. I've learned a lot in this lifetime. You know, I always got my mouth open. I'm always spitting truth and I'm learning simultaneously. It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Tucker's the man. I trust too. I trust Tucker, Judge Janine. I trust her. And I trust Waters World. He did that story on Q.
Fox and Friends. POTUS likes Fox and Friends for some reason. He goes on their show all the time.
He's got a friend that's a Q follower in his ear telling him stuff. So
how about
I totally trust Jesse.
Bartarimo?
Oh yeah, we can trust her. She's good. She drops stuff for sure.
Yes.
Like she gives in like good.
Yes.
Yeah, solid stuff.
And then Catherine Herridge, she used to be a reporter.
Oh, we can trust her too.
Love
John
her.
Solomon, Sarah Carter, we can trust all these people.
Yes.
I guess there are kind of a lot of good people on Fox that are good. There still are. It's mostly we can't trust. Obviously, Neil Cavuto and Chris Wallace suck. But yeah. Who else was I thinking about? I didn't mention. Oh, Greg Gutfeld. I like him.
Yep.
I think he's trustworthy. Okay. Enough of the World Health Organization. Another. Is it shocking sex propaganda for kids? Yes.
Oh, gosh. Hey, gosh. If you live in California, we know California.
Oh, wait. No, I didn't, Tim. Did you see the video of the live mic before the update today? I'm going to look that up. Do I just put live mic coronavirus? Okay, I'll try it. I want to look that up. I'm curious. Maybe it's on. Live mic. I don't know how to find it.
Oh, why are you looking at Facebook? That's the first thing, man. Facebook is fake book.
Okay.
Man, that's like looking up.
That was a bad idea. Okay.
Oh, man.
So, should I check YouTube then, huh? Okay, let me check.
Let's see.
Do you see anything?
No, I'm not even looking. I'm not. That's not even. Sorry, guys. I'm on my own station right now. I'm on my own thing.
Okay, I'm looking it up, Tim. I'm curious what you're talking about now. So it was a live mic. Let's see. Was it on all the feeds? Filter. Today. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see what Jose says. Okay, so that you don't have any sources, look up Trump's financial disclosure, and I will point out where you can see how he profited off his presidency.
Oh, gosh. Come on, bro. You need to bring that to us, man.
Okay, but Jose. Okay.
Okay, if
that's true.
That's his only hang up. Everything else
what you're
is
saying is
solid
true,
gold.
that he profited, that he made money. You say you claim 930 million. I mean, the guy was already a billionaire. How much money do you think he wants to have? I mean, it's insane for you,
that's not
for anyone to
either.
suggest that he would run for president, and what he's going through, risking his life, risking the lives of all the people he loves to make more money when he's already a billionaire. But it literally just if you just boil it down to that, like just think about it. Think about how ridiculous that is to believe that a person would be a billionaire and want to.
No, but that's not a good. See,
that's not a good point.
Come
Why is that not a good point?
Because you're playing on. You have to imagine that a billionaire would not want more money. That's not good enough for me. I need to know exactly. I want to know this. I want to see the proof. I'm all about proof. And if you've got proof, I mean, this is the thing. As we're talking, okay, I'm just curious, Jose. Were you one of those Russian collusion guys? Were you one of those guys that thought that the president actually colluded with Russia? I mean, this is the thing. These are some crazy accusations, because if he did collude with Russia, if you did support that idea, then you support the idea that we needed to kill a sitting president, because if he was colluding with Russia, that's treason. If treason is what he's being accused of, the punishment for treason is death. They were trying to accuse a sitting president of collusion with Russia so that he could be accused of treason, and therefore we're killing a sitting president. Now, the fact that has not been addressed yet, which it will soon be addressed, that's going to be on the forefront of everything, because it's kind of like just been pushed back. It's like all kinds of other things. First, it was the caravans that were coming up through Central America. That was going on for a while. And then it became Jussie Smollett. I mean, there are so many little sideshows that have been going on. What I love right now is part of the thing that's going on right now as we speak is we're all locked indoors, and there's not opportunity for false flags to be taking place, which include school shootings, church shootings. I mean, gosh, what a coincidence. None of them are happening right now. Why? Because everybody's at home. You can't. It's amazing once you start looking at all these school shootings and all of these shootings that have been happening that have had all these media attention. When you start looking at them, you see that they're all connected to shooters who were attached to government psychiatrists. You'll find out that they had...
He says, look, I really don't care about any of that. We probably won't agree. I want to know where we can agree.
Oh, where can we agree? Wow, let's find common ground, huh? Wow, where can we agree? Well,
campaign finance reform.
This is campaign finance reform. Here's another thing we can agree on is that there was the people versus, oh my gosh, what was it?
I think this is what Tim is talking about.
One sec, Ed. Okay. The Supreme Court ruled that a corporation could act as an individual. That's right now the current Justice Roberts court. Years ago decided, I think it was like 2 years ago. It had to be before that. I don't know how old this is, but a corporation could act as an individual. A corporation could donate as much money as they possibly could and act as if they were me or you or anybody else. That right there was absolutely 100% wrong. Justice Roberts, I believe, is compromised. I only know that because I read it in a book. Joe M. said it. Joe M., a huge source of mine, said it. Jose, we're not going to find a whole lot of things in common. But I tell you one thing, campaign finance reform, we can all agree on that.
And transparency. The more transparency in government, the better.
Yes.
The more transparency, the better.
Term limits for senators,
yes,
for congressmen. Yeah, we've already got it for the president.
We need term limits.
There has to be
voter
ID laws.
You've got to care about securing elections. You cannot be one of these people that vote by
ridiculous.
mail stuff. I mean, come on.
We require IDs for everything else. I mean, to sit there and play the game.
If you are a fan of vote by mail, then I'm suspicious that you care about secure elections.
Yeah, that you don't.
Okay, wait.
Care
Let's listen to this hot mic. I think this is it, right?
What's up, Johnny? All right, man. What do you know, babe? You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3 according to.
This is fake.
Mm-hmm.
That's reassuring. USC. Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
This is my initial.
County Public Health come out with a study.
Look how loud they're talking.
There's 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,442.
This has got to be fake.
Really? So that makes it 0.1, 2, 0.
What?
Does a study to come out with? Yeah, just give it to that.
Oh, interesting, Tim. I gotta play it again.
Wow.
Very interesting. Okay, that's the first time I've seen it, and I'm telling you right now, my gut instinct is that's totally
Staged.
fake. Totally staged.
Who do you think is staging it, though?
I don't know. Let's
Okay.
listen to it again.
Okay, I'm taking off our mic.
What's up, Johnny? All right, man. What do you know, babe? Fast, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3 according to. Is it really? That's reassuring. USC. Everybody here's anyway. USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there's 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,442 people who were infected. Really? Yeah. So that makes it 0.1, 2, 0.3. Does a study to come out with? Yeah, just give it to that. So it suggests the case fatality rate is 10. What it seems to be. Wow. Which is right in line with the flu. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it is. So it was a hoax. I don't think it was a hoax.
Holy crap.
That was funny.
That was crazy at the end. What the heck? That's crazy,
that's
Tim.
Pretty funny.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's
pretty funny.
very interesting.
Hot mics are really funny. They're almost.
Hot mics use them as a tool. That's rad.
I was thinking about what the president had said at his presser day. He said something about 5.5 too. He said 5.5.
Did he say that again? Because I think he said it yesterday too.
I don't know. He was repeating a stat, and he said 5.5. Sir, we hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, Tim, I haven't read what people are saying because I'm just watching it for the first time.
So what are they saying,
What are
Tim?
people saying, if you don't mind? I mean, I can look through the comments. Because it's crazy.
Wayne Dupree.
It says, we've all been vaccinated. The numbers are fake. Open Texas tomorrow. But there's no vaccine. Maybe he misspoke. Maybe it's fake news on open mic. Maybe we aren't getting the truth. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah, that was really bizarre. That was that was bad acting.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that with us, Tim. I one of the things that I heard today, which was similar in terms of and it was something that happened the other day that I posted on our page, was Nancy Pelosi, when she was talking about her ice cream, and and her fridge and her $25,000 fridge. There was somebody that I reposted, and I really don't do that very much on Facebook because Facebook is not where I get most of my goods. Most of my goods are from Twitter. So I usually get things from Twitter and I share them on Facebook. But I had read.
Oh yeah, I never heard your decode for that. What
It's not really a decode. It's more of a.
Or what people were saying.
Mm-hmm. It was an observation.
What was it?
Let's see here. I'm trying to get there because my computer is acting very slow.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and say it. It said right here, and this is, oh man. The post said, and this is from Hazel Grace, a quote unquote friend of mine on Facebook. Nancy's video the other day has been bugging me because I knew she was sending a message. I felt the same way. There was a message.
This is something.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead and play it. Play it.
Okay.
And this is the video that we're going to be talking about. We've seen it before. Let's watch it again. Crazy Nancy. Knucklehead Nancy.
Aunt Nancy. Crazy Aunt Nancy.
You can get through the mail.
Okay.
Run out. Now show
me.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the episode of Cribs I never knew I needed. Oh my. Wow.
Other people in our family go for some other flavors, but chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here.
See, I've always felt a connection with you, and now I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've been isolating in your house, how much of your regular diet do you think is ice cream and candy?
Well, as much as possible. It is. I enjoy it.
Yeah. What have you read?
Okay. This is from Hazel Grace, dated yesterday. Nancy's video the other day has been bugging me because I knew she was sending a message. Yeah, I felt the same way. Duh, it finally clicked just now. She was sending a message possibly to Tom Hanks like the rest of them. I think Nancy is now in lockdown and with the rest of them. In parentheses, it says, she could have also been sending it to Comey. Is she sending a message for someone to save her? Question mark. Also note that the orange scarf is around her neck. Ice cream name, and she notes that the ice cream name is Jenny, and that equals Forrest Gump. That the Dove ice cream equals a bird. And notice the scene, what field? I don't understand that. What do you mean the scene was in the cornfield?
What does that have to do with...
What's this about?
Oh, from Forrest Gump. That's a scene from Forrest Gump.
Okay. Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far away from here. Okay, interesting. Interesting. And I thought that was more... It was more to light than I previously... I couldn't even put it together. I wasn't even thinking. I don't watch movies, so... the whole Jenny equals Forrest Gump thing didn't make any sense. And then the Dove ice cream is a bird. I don't know that the bird... And the bird in the cage has been seen on lots of celebrities' Twitter feeds. Another story that happened today. I don't know if Heidi's moving along or not. Another story that happened today was that there was a grandma, a 102-year-old grandma that had a tough New York spirit. She survived the COVID-19. What happened was they gave her the hydroxychloroquine, and she recovered in 12 hours. I've heard it happens in as soon as 4 hours. But this, the hydroxychloroquine and the zinc and the whole entire setup that they got to get people going, I heard it happens very, very quickly. Interesting.
I'm gonna see if this is funny. Someone made this. Is that okay? Will you get mad at me if I play it and it's not funny?
Usually I do, because I felt like I'm like, wow.
You guys get mad at me if I play
I'm not.
something and
I'll
I
tell you
waste
right
your
now.
time and you
If
go,
it's one
that
of those,
wasn't funny, Heidi.
Well, if somebody like put heads on characters in some movie that's a random movie that I don't know, I'm probably I won't get mad. I'll just be like,
oh, it wasn't funny. I've never seen
okay,
this.
make me laugh.
I'm just playing
okay.
it. I've never seen it.
I'm gonna laugh if it's really funny. I'll laugh for you.
You know there are a lot of other empty compartments. Huh? Sí. Sí.
Okay, it's not funny already.
See, Heidi?
It's not funny.
Okay, pause it, man. Just dump out. Dump out! No!
Okay, that was dumb.
That was horrible.
It wasn't.
Guys.
Sorry.
We're sorry. That was a bomb. That was a fail.
That was not funny.
Oh, end it now.
I'm
Por
trying.
favor.
I'm sorry. I can't figure this out.
Pardon me.
Oh, man. It
Okay.
just goes. It's the
Okay.
joke that just keeps on getting.
It wasn't that funny.
Okay, yes. As you can see, there was, I don't know who hearted that, but.
No, someone posted it. I was just looking.
Can you go to We Are the News?
Yeah. Let's see this. Okay. Suspend immigration. So this is what you were talking about. Last week I announced on Tucker Carlson's show my plan to suspend immigration until Americans are back to work. It's great news that Trump is putting this into action. That's what you're talking about. In light of the attack from the invisible enemy, as well as the need to protect the jobs of our great American citizens, I will be signing an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration into the United States. Wow, that's pretty big. Okay. You want me to go to We Are the News? Yeah. All right. Here we go. I'm so amazing at this.
Go to my NPC memes. I think they're pretty good. NPC wars.
All right. All right. Here we go. Those comments on the Twitter post were saying the same thing, that it was scripted live. Oh yeah, I just like how loud they were talking, and they were kind of like acting.
Acting. You know.
But what was so? I mean, I can guess what the purpose of that is.
Acting.
To just start leaking that this is all a hoax. So does that mean that those reporters are white hats now?
No, they're not white hats. They're compromised. I would never
They're
wear
not.
white hats.
They're not white hats, but they're.
Don't even say that. White reporters being white hats? Don't insult the white hats, Heidi. The white hats are our friends.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what that means, if they're making deals, because I don't know what happened here. I don't know how to get out of this, Brian.
I don't know either. Oh, there we go. Just go to the top of the Bex. There we go.
Okay, what do you want me to?
I don't know. We can do whatever.
What do you mean? Told me to come here.
Well, I like the NPC memes because I think NPC has everything to do with what's going on right now. I don't know if you think they do or not, but
Oh yeah, the sheeple.
oh
The whole
gosh,
wearing
yes.
the mask thing.
Oh yes.
Oh, for sure. But I don't know where I'm looking.
Keep on going. Keep on scrolling down. Sorry, it's in the post. Can I look? If you're really bored and you're on Facebook, come hit me up, or at least come to the page and see where we drop our garbage. But this is the goods right here. This reminds me of the good old during. This is, I think, mostly during Reddit time. But I think this is just meme share time. You know, this is my favorite memes right here. Oh.
Yeah, you can just scroll through them that way. So what does it say?
I don't even have to say. I've always been wearing a mask, as you can see right there. I'm wearing the green Pepe mask. Oh, probably go the other way. Do you like that? Yep. That's
diversity is our strength.
Okay. NPC. If you're not familiar with NPC, I mean, it's kind of a game. It's a whole gamer term. But NPC are non-player characters. When you play video games and you play against the computer, if it's a first-person shoot-up game, say it's the guys that jump out at you and scare you and you got to shoot them. Yeah, that's NPC. You're playing somebody who's not a human being. No, you got to go back. You got to read what makes you NPC, though. Go back to that last one.
All left-wing...
Only... Okay, all NPC only repeats talking points that are identical to the agenda from
all left-wing political parties, all mainstream media news sources, all of Hollywood, all of the music industry, all celebrities except Trump, all late-night talk shows, all TV in general, 95% of Reddit and Twitter, and 100%. Well, that's not true.
What are you talking about?
100% of Facebook?
Well, they're rounding up. It's really 99.9999999.
Are you an PC or an NPC? Okay, that's only funny
to me.
Okay, Brian.
Wait. This is good stuff, though.
We all send each other the bomb, then blame Orange Man.
Okay, wait.
Thank you. My outrage has been updated.
There we go. These are some of my favorite ones right here. They're inputting Orange Man bad because that's how they program you. Because he's bad. Come on, guys. These are good. These are good. This is one of my favorite right here.
Her good. Him bad.
Be normal. You gotta be normal.
Drop these because everybody looks like sheeple because they're wearing the masks. Is that why you drop these?
Well, it really reminds me of the old meme war days when they used to have NPC and they used to think that DNC people all thought brainlessly alike, and they don't. There's a lot of diversity, as you can see.
I'm not oppressed. Multiracial white supremacist.
I like that one too. The globalist trap. Mine heard.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, that was a good. Wasn't that fun, guys? Weren't you glad I brought you along that field trip?
I wasn't laughing, just like you weren't laughing. I wasn't laughing.
It's a very it's a very elevated type of humor.
I think it's just about time for us to check out because it's been over 2 hours and 34 minutes, man.
I don't know if you learned anything from us today. I don't know if you shared anything with you. You probably haven't. But
thank you for teaching us stuff, Tim. Tim,
thanks for the
man,
conversation,
man. Jose, thanks for coming and hanging out and listening and engaging.
I hope, Jose, that you are able to find the answers to the questions that you have because there are things that we believe that we share. We believe that there's corruption. I believe there's corruption in the Republican Party. I believe the establishment is corrupt. I think, guys, here's some names I'm going to throw at you that people don't believe are corrupt, that I certainly do, especially through Q-Post. Paul Ryan, he's a bad dude. Jeff Flake, another Republican, bad dude. We already know that. Mitt Romney, he's a bad dude. These guys are all, for whatever reason, they're working against our president. So, who else is there? John McCain, both Bushes. There's a lot of bad people. I don't know. I hope you find the answers to your questions, Jose. There's a lot of answers out there if you'll just research and look.
And you have to, consider your sources. And I always tell people to, thank you. When's the next stream? I don't know. We're not really, you know what? This is what I'll do. The next time we feel like we are going to be able to sit here and talk 1.5 hours.
We've got 4 kids.
Yeah. And like laundry and stuff I should be doing instead of this probably. This is too fun though.
Sharing truth is pretty cool. I gotta say sharing truth is cool. And whatever you know, when you learn things, anybody who's listening, if you learn something, go out there and like figure out how it would appeal to the person that you're sharing it to, because you know what, one size does not fit all.
Exactly.
And know your audience.
And you know what, Jose, it's very cool that you reminded us, because Brian and I know that you should always build on common beliefs when you're trying to teach and learn from each other. You got to start with building on common beliefs, and I love that we could all agree that that campaign finance. I'm sure there's more that we could agree on, and it would actually be really cool to talk with you in person, to actually have a verbal debate or whatever. But
it's not a debate. It's
not a debate, but a conversation. You know, we're not debating.
We're finding similarities.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see any evidence that Trump is doing anything that you're claiming. But just for fun, I will look up his financial disclosures and see what you're talking about. Because in all honesty, I've never looked at that. I've never felt the need to look at that. So, but
you can also find out all kinds of things.
To prove to you that I'm totally open and learning, I will look that up and read about it. And
Jose, look up OpenSecrets.org. It's an independent research company that basically gives you everything that's public, on public disclosure on everything. That's probably where we can find the information on President Trump, is OpenSecrets.org. It's a site that I've been going to for years. It's pretty accurate. Anything else, Hyde?
Oh, I'm looking
forward
to...
I'm sorry.
No, go.
There's a lot of things we could have talked about. We will...
Brian and I we have like things we want to talk about that have nothing to do with politics, actually, because we talk about a lot of stuff. But I don't know if people would want to listen. But we were, I don't know. I had some interesting. I'm not gonna do it tonight, but if we did live stream and we didn't specifically talk about politics, but other things, I hope that you guys would enjoy that just for fun, because I've got some interesting thoughts, and I kind of want to see what other people think about things, and like what we're talking about video games.
Video games.
I have questions about video games.
Even not only video games, but including stuff like we were talking about today. I approach things much differently as a dude, and we're both having lots of conversations with people right now, tons of conversations, in text and emails, in instant messages, and a lot of boards, conversations that are very in-depth conversations about multiple topics, all about politics, obviously. And not only does it take up a lot of time, but the way I would respond to something, because I asked Heidi, like, how would you respond to this? And there are two totally, completely different ways that we would do it. I'm an impatient person, and I have expectations right off the top of what somebody should be able to understand and comprehend. And if you don't follow me,
Tim, your son is studying to be a video game programmer. I would love to talk to you, because I'm homeschooling my children, and my 13-year-old son plays so many video games, and it's really, really hard for me to control his addiction. I don't know what you should call it.
Oh, no. But this is the thing. But you're calling. Okay.
I know.
No, wait,
that's
Heidi.
The conversation I want to have.
If I was a exceptional soccer player and I was playing club soccer, would you call that an addiction?
No.
See, so you got to use the right terminology right now. There's and this is what I'll say is there's this idea that's out there.
Okay, I guess we're going to get into it then. We're going to get into it then. This was my question.
Okay, there's this idea out there that video games are bad.
Right? Like, that's what society tells us. That video games...
bad video games.
...are so bad for you, and they're such a waste of time.
There's cussing in there,
And, anyways,
blood,
I would say...
guns.
Because my son, he's like legit, like, really good at video games. And he always... I mean, I just know from when I see him, he gets super excited. He's like... I got number 1 out of 100 people or whatever, and he's like consistently like,
I won 3 games in a row and
doing this, and I got invited to all these people's clans, all these big guys. They invited all these famous people are inviting me to their clan, and that means anything. It seems to certainly mean a lot to him, and he's always been so good at video games. He's always been very good at puzzles, and I was like, I don't know.
It can't.
It can't. There's gotta be. The studies only talk about the side effects, the bad things about video games, and I just was telling Brian, I was like, but if you think about the nature of a video game, you think about
what video games are we talking about? Because there's all different kinds of.
I
video
know.
games.
I don't know video games that well, but I'm just saying, in order to keep people engaged, of all ages, especially, you gotta. You gotta have puzzles, and you gotta have
some pretty good psyop
you've gotta
skills.
be able
you gotta
to
be a psyop, these guys.
No, you know what I'm saying, Lyle? There's gotta be some intelligence that is required. What is going on with this?
I'm just laughing.
Headphones? They're so funny. These are gamers headphones.
Yeah, dude, you're so sweaty player, bro. You're such a sick player, man. I just hear my kid talking all whatever.
Yeah, he was on here earlier. Anyway, I just think that there's more to video games than just them being bad, and I kind of want to explore that.
Well, it's a huge industry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he could make money doing...
that's not... See, my thing is... And we had this conversation today, and I told Heidi, I said, okay, he's 13 years old. He's a smart kid. He's a very smart kid. And I said, if he's listening right now, he's probably listening to this feed laughing at us right now. But he's a smart kid. And my thing is if he's going to be building a computer, if he wants to be gaming, I said, that computer from the ground up, because I'm not going to have this turnkey computer for gamers, and I'm not going to go to, and get the $2,500 computer just because that's got all the bells and whistles. Like, you better be able to build this thing on the low, present me a budget, tell me what all the parts cost, assemble, and in doing that, he's going to have a better understanding of building a computer from the ground up. He'll know what components he needs, and then he'll be able to, there's more to it, obviously. He wants the game. He wants to have a gaming channel, but there's a lot, there's a lot
I don't know
of
what he
things
wants to do,
this.
but I just think, is there something productive? Because he loves it. It's like, it's a passion, and I hate to, like, crush someone's passion and say, it's terrible for you. You shouldn't do that. It's a waste of your time. It's like, is it, though? Like, is it totally a waste of your time? I mean, is there good that comes out of gaming? I mean, there's got to be. There's the social aspect of it, and there's like I said, like, things have to be engaging. There has to be puzzles. There has to be things. I mean, when you think about the
like Tetris, like I can, like, my third hour of Tetris.
When you think about I was telling you, when you think about the chans, when we talk about the chans are full of gamers, right? And they're smart people, very smart people game. And
No.
all types of people game. Yeah. All types of people game, including really smart people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Shut up, Brian. Stop laughing at me.
I was like, there's these kids down the street. They're gamers, man.
Tim said, when I first joined Facebook, I was playing about 30 games daily. I had to stop most of them cold turkey. I only play 2 now. Oh, so you were playing games on Facebook? Like those Animal Farm? Were you playing those kind of games?
Remember Mafia?
Then I remember the people like always inviting me to play games with them, and I'm like,
Grow Your Farm?
I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting sucked in. Not getting sucked into your PSYOP games.
I did it. I admit it. I'm addictive.
He's addicted to stinking Splixio. Who plays Splixio? When he's not reading, he goes, he plays Splixio, and before that it was Slither.
Are we outing? Are you outing me now? Do we want to tell you what you're addicted to?
What am I addicted to?
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm addicted to.
Yeah, but you're like making me look like
it's
I'm some
funny.
Kind of... No, it's not funny. You don't need to say that.
He's offended.
You don't need to share that kind of stuff. Exactly.
Okay, Tim. Many of them. Gotcha.
Yeah, Tim too. Tim's like, why are you trying to out Tim? Tim's just a dude. Tim's cool. Like, why are you trying to make him look bad?
No, I was just saying, like,
Tim, it's cool, man. We know. Okay, this is my addiction. The Lakers. I used to watch season. I would waste the entire season. Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. I'm embarrassed to say this. I would watch so many Laker games. This is when Laker games were free. When they were away games, they were free on local TV. Now everything's paid for everything. But it's like, or you got to pay for a cable channel. I'm not a Lakers fan. Once I was woke on all of this.
We forgot to say hi to Shiz and Giggles. Hi, Giggles.
Hey, Giggles, what's up?
We're early tonight.
Sorry.
We're trying to we were trying to do
the rush hour
to not like be dead the next day and not function very well from staying up till 3 a.m.
It's 12:43.
I am a Celtics fan, but I respect the Lakers.
Fan. Okay. Honestly, I love basketball. I played basketball growing up, so I love basketball. I will not, like, we had the Lakers and the Clippers here in Southern California. I didn't have any cable. I watched home games. I watched away games, Lakers, and I watched Clipper games. And Clippers suck for years.
You too, Giggles. Sorry.
But I grew up Showtime Lakers. I'm old. I know. I'm old. But I refuse to watch the LeBron Lakers. That guy is so deep state cabal. I mean, when you do... Being woke ruins everything, man. It really
ruins
does.
Music,
ruins
movies.
I already didn't like movies because
all your favorite comedians and actors.
I took classes for broadcast television, so I took some film and movie classes, stuff like that.
Hey, we got Norway here. What's up, Norway?
Norway, what's up? Norway,
oh, he says I was playing. Is that World of what's WOW?
Wizards of War.
For 6 to 10 hours each day for many years. Now I just watch you guys and walk my dog. Oh,
well,
so maybe I shouldn't let my kid play so many video games. I don't know.
And compared to what's it?
Tim says I have had a hard time thinking about sports now, knowing about the trafficking, and I am a diehard Bostonian. I know, because at all those events, that's when they're trafficking children at those huge sporting events. Everything is compromised. It sucks.
Well, really not only that, but
all these
it's like bread and circus. Man. Bread and circus. I watched the Lakers when they had the three-peat, and after the first season, I remember I watched so many Laker games, and when they won, I thought I was like on the team. I thought I was on the bench. I was like, yeah, and I was like jumping all around, being an idiot. Whoa, I wanted to go down there and be celebrating at Staples Center. The second year they won, and I was like, oh, my Lakers are sick, And then the third time, it was like, oh, I'm not on the team. Oh, it was a little bit of a downer.
So exciting.
And I had choices to make because I like video games also. This is when we were early on in our marriage. And it's like I couldn't possibly play video games and watch the Lakers. Well, now I don't watch any of that stuff. Once we became woke, I don't watch any, no TV, no TV, maybe Jeopardy with my kids.
I don't know where you guys are at, but I can't even turn the TV on for 10 minutes. Nope. Everything seems so stupid. The world seems just frivolous, and everything just when you think about the seriousness of the nature of the things that we understand about how controlled we are, everything is just so silly and juvenile and just not important, and it makes you hyper focused on. I love that about being
things
woke,
that are important
because it does. It makes you hyper focused on what really matters in life,
including relationships.
Yes,
relationships are very important, and being social. Even this right here is social. I mean, it's not the most social. Obviously, face to face, cheek to cheek, whatever. That's always better than this.
Still connecting with people that are just being real.
Oh my gosh, guys! I have conversations with Heidi every day, and I bug her more than anything because she's like,
"Wait, what? I'll see the rescues. What are you talking about, Giggles? You're saying somebody was on video, rescues? I didn't see anything. I've been looking in the internets today, so I'm okay. I have not had the TV on for a long time. Just to have POTUS on or to get the weather alerts. Exactly. That's what we or to turn on the fake news to be entertained, because it is entertaining turning on the local news.
I like the weather girls too.
And the local news, you're starting to recognize him probably.
Oh, they don't like me.
Because every time he sees him,
I'm that guy. They're like, there's that guy. There's certain NBA. I know there's a guy.
Okay, she says it's going on in New York and California. Is there video, Giggles? Should I look on Twitter? Where are you finding this?
Giggles.
Please tell me. I need to find. Okay, I'm going on Twitter.
Twitter's feed.
If I'm not talking,
we need a
because I'm excited about what you're saying, Giggles.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a news. I think we need a.
I feel like I'm in a newsroom right now.
I know, but I need to
get. Next to each other.
I know. I think we need reporter Heidi. I'm looking for a theme song for our news.
What should I look up?
News theme
song.
Tell
me what to look up. New York and Cali. Okay. New York. I really don't know what to look up.
Breaking news. I'm sorry, I'm not making light of anything. It's late.
Some lady rabbit hole. What? What is Some lady rabbit hole. What does that mean? I don't know what that is. That someone's name? Some lady rabbit hole.
Okay. There's a lot of things that we've heard. Just tell her. Talk. Let's talk, man. What's going on?
About what? I want to know about these rescues that she's talking about. Rescues. It just says it has a bunch of animal rescues. I guess I should put children.
I believe that if we have, it's according to my research, that if we have stringed instruments, I believe that if we have stringed orchestra strings in our theme music, that people will take us more seriously. So I've come up very similar to the NBC News theme.
Okay. Well, okay, so today or yesterday, there was a story that came out about Australia, global child exploitation sting triggered by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security investigates has rescued 4 Australian children. That comes up, but not Cali and
not New
York. So she's trying to find it for us. Oh, and by the way, when you do, for some reason, if you do post a link in the chat, it does not show up for me. So I'm not ignoring you if you post a link, because a couple people posted links and they don't show up. So I don't know.
You sure you don't like them? You like them, right?
Look on there to see if the links are showing up. Okay. Because someone dropped a link for me and I didn't see it. 4 hours ago. God bless everyone. Wait, what? Okay, someone wrote, "Congratulations, God bless everyone that took part in the rescue mission. The children have been removed." This was from. Okay, let me read further here. The best ever. What? Is this real? The best ever got done, folks. Those kids that were trapped in cages under the Clinton Foundation were pulled out by the Marines. Thank you, Mr. President. Oh my gosh, what is this?
Whoa.
Okay, what? I gotta put this on.
Well, this is okay.
Okay,
take it on.
I gotta read this.
This is crazy, guys. It could be happening right now, but I don't know. This is some crazy stuff. How many likes are on that? I usually get. Who is this person? What's the source?
I know. I'm still
reading. Talk to me, baby.
I'm still reading, baby. I'm still reading. Okay.
This is exciting. Thank you very much, Shiz and Giggles.
You're bringing the shiz tonight.
For wheels. Wow, this is how it works.
Okay,
look at that.
Okay,
dropping the bombs.
So this Francisco American, the president pulled it off and got the kids out from under the Clinton Foundation.
Hit that freaking video
and onto
now.
the Mercy Cup. What?
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them
true.
and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse.
I think
it's
do
also
follow
child
Blessed
torture,
to Teach.
because you have adrenaline of the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. All of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts
Research
of America,
NAMBLA.
all of the things across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling organizations, so that an organization that initially started out
this is 20 minutes long.
Children
I gotta
becomes an
fast forward. Sorry.
organization that is in
Central Park. And I don't know what all the details of what she told my mom. I don't know if it's more than what I've already told you, but...
We got a music video. There's a lot of information here. I can see that this is a compilation of information that we've...
Exactly the opposite is happening. But there is an increasing pressure. I mean, you can feel the tension when you go out. Even when you go to take...
Oh, Al Rabbit Hole. Okay, on YouTube. I follow her on YouTube.
People are going to get sick and tired of this. We're not used
okay,
to
I'll look at her.
I don't think we're going to...
Okay, yes. I do follow Alice down the rabbit hole, actually. I think she's on YouTube. I don't know if she's on Twitter. Right? Yes. I know that name from Twitter. Let me look that up. I mean from YouTube. Let's see. Sorry.
It's 12:54 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is April 21st, 2020. That's some proper clear vision right there. 2020.
Okay. Let's look at our channel here.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Don't sing, Brad.
Hook up.
Okay.
I can sing if I want to. Don't stop me.
Okay. Was this a pandemic? These people are sick. Oh, this is a cool video. Let's watch this for a minute.
I was crying, and
Not
my
this.
daughter come to me and asked, "Mommy, why are you crying?" I said, "You know."
I will complete that. She was crying because she dropped her ice cream. She dropped it on the ground.
I rub shoulders with some big names, you know, I've been around Tony Robbins.
Why is there a echo? That's weird.
It's gonna come out. They say it's gonna.
I'm not playing that. It's
Get
an
another.
echo.
There's got to be another version of that. Play it again, and you know what the echo is, Heidi? Turn it off. Play it again. Watch. It's this.
It's gonna come out on the media.
My haircut.
All right. All right.
It's been a long night. We've got to wrap this up.
Go because my son needs a haircut and he's starting his job tomorrow. So I gotta be a good mom and give him a nice haircut. At
These 1 o'clock in the morning haircuts.
1 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna give him a haircut. Nice. But that's what you do in these coronavirus days. Anyway, I am going to look that up, Giggles. I'm gonna go do some research on that. And Tim, I'm going to go look up Blessed to Teach and watch that video you're talking about because that sounds like fun. And
Tim, Shiz,
it's
Jose.
4 a.m. for Giggles.
It's
Giggles, you're
Giggles,
crazy.
you crazy.
You crazy. How do you function?
Wait, Giggles, where you at again? Philly? Ohio?
Yeah. What state are you in?
Minneapolis. Kansas City. She's from...
No.
She's from Missouri. That's
Florida.
right. Emo.
Oh, Emma.
Emo.
That's right. Oh, M-A.
Massachusetts. Okay, that's right. We got a Patriot.
We had another guy's from Boston, right?
Yeah, Tim Alexander is a big... Gosh, guys, who would have known that we're going to have eHarmony here? We might be hooking these two up here. Tim, meet Shiz.
You guys are both from Massachusetts.
They're from the New England states there. Mass. That's
Man,
right.
you gotta teach us some of the local lingo over there. We want to learn some of your slang over there in Massachusetts.
Well, you know what? Here's one of my favorite Massachusetts words that I know. Ready? You want?
Oh wait, Tim's not from Massachusetts. Sorry.
He's from Missouri, but he's
Sorry.
a. See, I knew it.
You said you were a fan, though, right?
He's a fan of the Red Sox.
Oh, you're from Boston. Okay, cool. All right, guys. I don't know when soon, because we have a lot to say.
Pack the car.
Pack the car and the Harvard yard. Yeah.
And how do you all say January?
Yeah, how would you say January? January. Does it sound different than January?
Have you guys heard JFK say January? Oh no, it's not JFK Jr. It's Joe M. No, who is it? It's the Joe M video.
Yeah, it's the Joe M.
January.
It says January, and it sounds.
I think it's a Boston. I think it's a Boston accent.
I don't know.
I think so. I think it might be from.
You grew up in Maine. Wow. Gosh, I've never even been on the East Coast at all. Only been here. Boring.
Have you ever flown over the East Coast? To go anywhere?
I've been to Florida, and that's as far as I've gone. But yeah, gosh, I would love to go. Anyway.
Anyway, y'all, it's been a pleasure, and I hope we've been able to share something interesting, I guess.
You don't have to say that.
Why not? I just did.
Okay. Yes, you guys keep researching and bringing the goods
Keep the
to
faith.
us and keep hanging out.
Keep on wearing those sheeple. If you've got a mask,
Don't wear the mask.
But-
I will laugh at you if you wear it.
But if people are sick, you know, it's like it's a courteous thing to do.
No, like in your car while you're driving alone and you wear a mask.
Don't want to cough
I
on your
will
steering
laugh
wheel.
at
I get
you.
it though, you know, because sometimes you cough on your steering wheel and then you touch it with your hands and then you might touch your face and then you might get your germs back on you. So it's a circular.
Yeah, so it makes...
No.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You look kind of foolish.
Oh, you grew up in New Jersey.
Jersey?
Oh, you got it. I'm doubly cursed with accents.
Okay. This is the
That's
extent.
rad.
This is the extent that I know. No, I shouldn't say it. Jersey Shore.
Do we have a California accent to you? I'm sure we do. We just sound like we're from California.
Good evening.
But I
What
don't.
does a California accent
I don't
sound
do the
like?
Valley girl. I don't say.
Yes, you do. You say like a lot.
We say
You do.
like a lot.
And like.
Yeah. There are. I mean. Jersey Shores. Anyway, Jersey Shores. Love that show.
That's
That
probably,
was
that's
like
pretty sad. But
that
that's
we
probably,
did watch that show a little bit. That was like our like.
Oh, don't say anything. That's embarrassing.
We
Hey.
indulged
Oh,
in that.
No, don't say it.
Once upon a time. Maine accent, New Jersey accents are different than Boston. Oh my goodness. I know it must all be mixed up, but you usually revert probably back to what you like when you were like a 5 when you were really little.
But
So
do you
I'm
think
sure-
the closer you get to Canada, do you think they speak A? Like A? Like, do you think the Maine people say A? Or is that like a different part of the A? Canadians.
I don't know. So Tim, you have a Maine accent then? I'm gonna guess if you grew up in Maine, but you live in Missouri, but you lived in Boston too. You've been
Oh,
everywhere,
man.
Tim.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah.
We better let him go.
I know. Okay, we're just talking to talk because.
We'll reach out to you. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully we have more to share. And thanks for sharing the information that you gave us.
We'll have to come back because so much will be going on.
Yes.
Let's just like pray that that's the deal.